The following program contains adult language, possible video game spoilers, unnecessarily long discussions, malding, ranting, tilting, and all the things your parents warn you about the internet. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's Cranefreeze, the possible late-night show, depending on your time zone. Featuring Sue, Luke Word, featuring the musical talents of JULIAN YVES.
And now, straight from the corner of a room in California, the official Crane!
Hey! Yes, thank you. I know. Thank you. Please, calm down. Calm down, people. Calm down. Calm down. No, I said calm down. Calm down. Yeah, I know. I know. Yo, welcome everybody. This is Cranefreeze. And, hey, it's Petrified. It's not Petrified? Oh, man. I missed this. Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Petrified?
Yes, Petrified. Petrified is in fact here. So, how are you guys? I missed you.
Whatever.
Whatever. Pirate's just like, I'm not impressed. How are you guys? Am I coming out good? Am I peaking? Am I too loud? Am I too soft? Am I what?
Thank you so much for subscribing.
Yo, what's up, Yuzora? Yo, guys, it has been a while. It's been maybe a month? A whole ass month? Good to see you. Well, I mean, thank you so much. It's good to be back. Yeah, if you notice, things
Not interested.
things do look a little different. This is sort of the thing that I wanted to do. So, as you guys know, I've been streaming for like a good, supposedly 6 months, but then obviously there was 1 month that I didn't do anything. It's been 10,000 years. Yes. Your multipliers are a little off, but yeah. But we have, and I've been streaming for a while, and I usually do work, voice acting, stuff like that, video games sometimes, and I sort of decided I took this break because I had a performance in Hollywood. Yeah, it's called Choreographer's Ball in Carnival. It's kind of a big it's a big thing for like choreographers in Hollywood, and I got invited to do it, and that was sort of the deal. But in that time, I really thought about like what I wanted to do on Twitch, and yeah, this is sort of what I wanted to do on Twitch. Sue does have new outfits. They're not available yet. I can press them for you, but you guys can't redeem them yet. I need to fix the redeems because I have to, do all of that kind of stuff. But I did want to test it out, and I did want to say hi to all of you. I did promise that I was going to be out, so that's what it is. And today with us, obviously you saw in the intro, was our good man, Luke Word. Luke, hey man, say something, bro.
Hey everyone, how is everyone doing? We are back with the new and improved set for Cranefreeze. Oh, I see Pirate with that Optimus High using my emotes. I see you, Pirate. But yeah, we've missed you guys on this channel. Obviously, if you guys have been the Luke, thank you, Kodiak. The Luke, hi Alchemic, hi everyone. I even dressed up for the occasion. Like I dug this out. I'm looking snazzy. I'm trying. But yeah, obviously in the month that Crane's been gone, I've been streaming. So I've been seeing a lot of you over there. I try, Pirate. I try. Yo, Zora, thank you. I haven't worn this in like 10 years, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
You don't want to give yourself away like that too much, bro.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm all right with that. I have no secrets except many.
Yeah, so we have Luke today, and it's just the two of us for now. The other boys are busy, but you will see the UI guys soon. And yeah, so if you guys haven't figured it out, the thing that I wanted to do is just to explain a little bit of all of this is I actually want to do like a talk show. And I want it so that I realize that my problem is that there's a lot of content that I can create on Twitch, but then when it comes to actually posting it, like you've seen with some of the podcasts, it takes forever because I have to edit them. And I don't have that time. So I decided that I wanted to set everything up so that everything will just export straight into YouTube, and I don't have to do a lick of editing. And that just means that a lot of the work is front-loaded. But yes, this is Cranefreeze. It's sort of like a talk show, and we talk about stuff like video games and all that other stuff, and it's literally just an excuse for me to talk. Ain't that right, Luke?
Absolutely. We, of course, we voice act, so we love talking. We love hearing the sound of our own voices. But sometimes we don't want to strain them too much, so we talk about nonsense. Or, current events, stuff we care about, stuff like that, a variety, a smorgasbord of topics. And that's why Cranefreeze has gotten a little bit of a rebranding.
Yeah,
but don't worry.
The Cranestorm is also getting sort of like a rebranding as well. So if you guys haven't noticed, we have posted them up on YouTube. So we do have a YouTube channel. It's The Official Crane. Please help us get to 100 subscribers so I can at least change the URL. YouTube gates a lot of the content or a lot of the features depending on how many subscribers you have or whatever. It's a good thing that that account has been up for more than 30 days. A lot of the videos that we've done here, by the way, in the past with the podcast, they're actually already uploaded. They're just going through YouTube checks because some of you guys, I'm not going to say who, but some of you guys asked us to watch videos during the podcast, which got us dinged. So, like stuff like wrestling. Fuckers.
I wonder who that could possibly be.
Yes. And if you guys ever want to be part of the show, just let me know, because we're always looking for guests to talk about all this kind of stuff. And by the way, we have segments and games here. So we will be playing sort of like party games, kind of. Would you consider them party games, Luke?
I'd consider them party games, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It's like drinking games, but without the drinking, because we follow terms of service. Is it? Are we still not allowed to drink on Twitch? I don't drink anyway, so but
I don't drink either, so we're good. At least for this one.
Oh man, I got a name for this talk. Crow, lol. I do mostly nothing, so I am always up to be a guest. There we go. Yes, and just so you guys know, when it comes to karaoke night, we're not gonna have karaoke nights anymore. They will just be part of the segment, and these will go straight up to YouTube. Just so you guys know. But yeah, so I know that a lot has happened since you've last seen me, and we're going to try to round up some of those things. Luke, you ready to talk about some of that stuff?
Yeah. I'll see how up to date I am on some of these things. Some of them I am, some of them I'm not. But there's been some recent developments that are pretty damn interesting. I think it'll make good conversation. Oh, don't you even joke about that, Karoy.
No, don't.
Don't you even.
Don't you dare. There are so many people all over the world who literally came up with like an excuse to not go to work that week. So
yeah, like half the population of Earth is taking that like week off.
Yeah.
So
it'd be really bad. Like imagine it goes on the news. It's just like, oh, a pandemic is happening where there's sort of like a 14 variant of coronavirus that hits us only during the opening or the pre what is it the pre-opening early access of
early access, yeah,
A Realm Reborn. I'm mad right now. So so Karoy, is that for real? Did it actually get delayed? Because the live letter is happening right now, and we are ballsy enough to go up against them. We're punching up, but yeah. So did it? Did it get delayed? December 7th is the new release date.
Really?
You know what though? That news is not too bad considering there are so many. I know so many people who have not hit Shadowbringers yet. So
that actually like in actuality, I love that it got delayed. It's still not great, but like for like me personally, for I know a lot of people that like are more recently playing the game and kind of getting back into it, like that delay gives them plenty of time to actually get to the end of Shadowbringers. Like because we had like early access starts in like exactly like 2 weeks, so them pushing it back for whatever reason they need to do. I don't know what. I don't know why they had to, but scheduling for me for my stream, that works out great for me. Because
we're all about us.
Yeah, exactly. For me, because I was probably going to stream Endwalker, and now that gets pushed back and makes my life a little bit easier. Gives me more time to breathe with other things.
Oh, and not just that. It's good too because it becomes easier for me to schedule the podcast. Next week we will continue Cranestorming, but it will be a series of Cranestorming talking about 14, leading up to December 7, apparently. But yeah, so if you guys want to, I mean, that's you guys have a little bit of a chance, a little bit of time to go get to Shadowbringers. I was about to say Shadow Walkers. Not a bad name. Let's tweet
that's
that
the next one.
But yeah.
Or that'll be a patch title. Shadow Walkers.
Eventually. I was so mad, by the way, when they were like, oh yeah, we went from Stormblood to Shadowbringers. And I hated it because you know how we usually abbreviate it, like ARR and HW and SB and now SB again? So I was just like, fuck, please not like another SB. Okay, I have 2 extra weeks. Yep. Is Sue wearing a Sailor Moon outfit? Yes. Because, actually, it's not Sailor Moon, it's Sailor Jupiter. The person who requested it was very, very specific that they wanted Sailor Jupiter. Very fucking specific.
It's a good choice. Good choice.
It pissed me off because I had to, like, get the outfit and then color it again and all of that sort of nonsense.
You had to modify this one.
I had to mod the mod of the mod. So, yeah. Speaking of things that were sort of shown up today, Endwalker being the biggest news. And trust me, we're going to get news. We're going to get breaking news as things come in because live letter is happening as we speak. But one of the other things that got dropped today is this son of a bitch.
We got the opening cinematic and release date for Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier. I believe it's the First Soldier. And they had a very, very pretty trailer with very, very little showing of what's actually going to be going on in the game. But we've been seeing gameplay over the recent couple of months, I think. So this trailer is a little bit weird because it has a lot of the stuff from the previous trailers. It's just not the gameplay. It doesn't have the gameplay. It shows, so it's almost like it shows a little bit of it. But the thing about this trailer is I don't think this is necessarily a trailer. I think this is the sort of opening cinematic of the game itself. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, right? I think I got that right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And I've made this prediction a long time ago. I've had Suna on. I think I've had Faraga Fighter on. I've spoken to a bunch of people, and everybody who was bitching about this game, they're all like, "Oh no, not another cash grabbing like title from they're squeezing out the FF7 stuff." I knew people would love this shit. Why? Because it's Battle Royale. We know what the numbers are when it comes to Battle Royale. Everyone likes Battle Royale. Except for me. But, you know, Luke, are you a Battle Royale person? No, you don't give a shit. No.
I am. I really don't give a shit. Like, no Fortnite, none of the Call of Duty ones, no PUBG. It's never really been in my wheelhouse, and I've never had an interest in playing them. And even putting Final Fantasy on it, which 7 is not like a huge draw for me. So it's still not enough to get me involved. I don't even know what would, honestly. Like, you can slap freaking Transformers or Power Rangers on a Battle Royale. I probably still wouldn't play it. I'll be honest with you. It's just not a genre that interests me.
Well, I mean, the pirate was saying it's kind of funny how some random soldier summoned Bahamut. That's the thing. He did in fact do that.
Which we know from Remake that, you know, they've been developing like summon materia. So I suppose that it is kind of more in that vein where they're taking that logic where it's like, yeah, they can just make it and they've tested it. And it's available for soldier class individuals to use, I suppose.
No, what's funny about it is that, well, you're not entirely correct. Remember, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, you have to be very careful about the usage of the word soldier. Because those guys are actually MPs. They're military police. They're not soldiers.
We saw... It was interesting because we saw distinctly... like because you are right, you're absolutely right. We saw the more generic sort of Shinra security / military, and then we saw kind of more like the MPs, like what you were talking about. In fact, going up against each other, which I found interesting. Because I haven't watched any of the gameplay. Are there like enemy NPCs in the game, or are they just there to represent other players?
No, I think there are enemy NPCs. I think
Okay.
usually when you have like mobile games, you have pretty much two things that you need to do when it comes to mobile games. You need to have a PvE and a PvP. So obviously when it comes to the PvP, you're going up against other quote-unquote soldiers, right? Like that's the canon. But when it comes to something like PvE, it might be something along the lines of you having to fight like grunts and all that stuff. Hey, Zood Angel, welcome to Cranefreeze. This is my new setup. This is my new stream. So we're doing the whole talk show thing just because, like I'm a big fan of Conan O'Brien and yeah. Anyways, and this is my Andy Richter right there. Look at him. He's so handsome. He's so handsome. I know.
How you doing?
It's Sue and Luke are both my thirst traps in this whole thing. Overwatch has been Alchemic's one and only battle royale. Is that considered it's like a first person shooter, right?
No, it's. I think it's. I think their classification is like arena shooter.
Arena shooter, yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah.
What is Sue?
Along the lines of like.
Oh, you heard it.
Well, if I'm the sex appeal, Sue is clerical duties.
Yes.
Obviously. She does run the Instagram and the Twitter account. So
King Kodiak, that is I've never used this term before, but I'm excited to use it. It's based. The only multiplayer game that King Kodiak needs is Final Fantasy XIV. That is definitely true. It's funny because I play Final Fantasy XIV and League. That's what I do. And I usually play League to just get shit off. But anyways, Soldier for what is this? The first Soldier. I was about to say Soldier first.
The first Soldier.
The first Soldier.
That's why I try to.
It just rolls off the tongue. It's like, I watched that man play Pokemon. It's fun. But this game is actually releasing on the 17th, I believe.
I did not look at when. I think you're right. I think it was the 17th. I can definitely double check that because I don't think I actually looked at the date.
Proto Man, by the way, I do play Star Wars: The Old Republic. I do play that game. I think out of all of... I went on a craze, by the way, just so you guys know. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV for 9 years? 8 years? Something along those lines. And
something like that.
And I got really bored of it. Not really bored, but like I hit like end game of it, and I was like, okay, I did Bahamut, I did all this stuff. I want to test out other MMOs, so I played like as many MMOs as I could, and Luke knows this too because I got them all on Steam, and he just sees me.
Yeah, I saw him on Steam like every 3 days. He was on to a new MMO. It was hilarious to watch. It was absolutely hilarious to watch.
Yeah, so precisely. And when I did that, out of all of those MMOs, like a lot of them were exciting, but I dropped all of them. The only one that I did not drop was The Old Republic. That was the only one that I didn't drop. And then I played that alongside with Final Fantasy XIV. So and I just guess that's kind of even Fallout. So yes, I did play Fallout. I think the only thing I didn't play at the time was World of Warcraft because I played World of Warcraft before playing Final Fantasy XIV. And then all these guys are just like, I'm moving on and I'm a refugee and shit. See, like it's because I'm Asian. I knew which boat to hop onto. I knew exactly which boat. I just had to throw that in there. Yazara said, I just noticed that League made music videos starring their game characters. You only found out about that shit now? That shit is amazing. Honestly, I haven't seen a company that has done more in terms of music. Video game company, by the way, that has done more in terms of music and all of this artistic stuff in a span than Riot. Riot has been absolutely killing this shit.
I couldn't name a company that has done stuff that, like, at least not in like. Unless there's some like Chinese company that I don't know about that's like exclusively putting stuff up there, it's hard to find like something that like Like that's expanded that well, really, despite Riot's sort of like internal issues that they've had. But like on a multimedia scale, like they're actually doing pretty well.
Well, I wouldn't say well. I think
I mean,
I think what they're doing is they're sort of toppling the Blizzard empire. I think they are like essentially the new Blizzard. What do you think?
Well, I don't think you should try to, especially with all the shit going around Blizzard right now. I don't think you want to obtain the title of new Blizzard. I think it's, and even Riot. Well, fortunately, Riot's coming out the other side smelling a little bit better than Blizzard is. Blizzard's still deep in the muck, so we'll see if they can actually claw their way out of it. But I mean, there's definitely some similarities there. Just like kind of like, you know, American-based company, lots of multimedia influence. Honestly, they're just kind of short of like a feature film at this point. And, well, multiple games, but they're working on those now, which I'm very excited for their turn-based RPG by Airship Syndicate.
Oh, yeah.
So I love their Battle Chasers game, and it looks like it's just Battle Chasers 2, but with League of Legends characters. So I'm like, I'm so down. Yes, please. I want to play that game now.
Before we hop on to another lore, first of all, just to talk about the controversy and stuff, look, this is the reality, okay? You're going to get the reality straight from me. When companies get big enough, they become rife with scandal because people suck. Like, I think people always forget that people suck, right? And the thing is, majority of the people probably don't suck, but some of the people will do. And the thing is, what happens when people get sort of authority or power or whatever is that they become suckier, right? So
Thank you so much for subscribing.
To Irish, thank you for subscribing, man. I missed you. But the thing about it is that when people get authority, very rarely does it amplify their goodness. It usually amplifies their evil. And the thing is, I know it's very easy for us to be like, oh, you know, man, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe they did that. But the reality is this, and this is something that I've always stuck with, is that the only reason why a lot of people like us, one of the things, the positives, or one of the things that the perspectives that we need to look at is that we're all probably pieces of shit too. It's just that a lot of us haven't received that sort of amount of power. And, you know, you got to be very careful about that because you don't know, like, if you get into a position of power or if you get, like, some form of authority or anything like that, it's very easy for you to go bad. Like, it's very easy for you to do that. It's just that a lot of the times you don't have the opportunity to. So, you know, yeah. Well, that's the reason why that line is so good. Like, with great power comes great responsibility, you know, like... with the whole Uncle Ben thing, is because of the fact that
Uncle Ben.
Because that's something that people should know. It's not something that people instinctually know. It's something that people should know. That's the reason why that's such good wisdom. It's something that people should always keep and bear in mind because the moment you know, sometimes, like, it's funny. Let me tell you a really short story. An ex-girlfriend, my first girlfriend, which I guess would also make her my first ex-girlfriend. She was hanging out with my friends, and we were all like nerds that got bullied and shit, right? And she was very popular. She belonged to another school, which is the only reason why she hung out with me. And my dumbass, she was like, "Hey, you know, why don't we hang out like here and we can invite some friends and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I didn't get the wink wink. I didn't understand that. So when we got to the arcade, she brought nobody and I brought everyone. That's how much of a doofus I was. And and I'm like, and she's like, "Oh, you brought your friends?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I brought all my friends." And they're all just like, "Hey, what's up?" Anyways, that story was not meant to expose me in any sort of way. What that story was meant to the reason why I said that story was because at the end of the day, she sort of I apologized. I said, "Hey, you know, sorry that I, you know, invited all these guys." And she's like, no, I like them. I like hanging out with them, you know. I like them better than like all the jocks and all that stuff. Like, they're such nice people. And I really thought about that because I'm fucking Crane. Like, even when I was young, I was Crane. And I thought to myself, really? Are they? And the reality is that my friends are actually bigger assholes than the people who are bullying us. The only problem was that the people who were bullying us actually had the ability to bully. I know for a fact that some of my friends who were so quiet and bullied and quote-unquote humble, the only reason why they're humbled because they didn't really have any opportunity to be a dick. See, the real test
I like how you stopped yourself at hump. Your friends were really hump. I just want to point that out.
Oh, it's a slip of the tongue. But
sure it was.
But that's one of the things that I do really that's something that I really do want everyone to understand is that, you know, being nice is actually, if you're nice and you don't have the ability to be mean, then you're not really nice because you don't really have the choice. To be nice is a choice. So, you know, anyways, going black, it just means that people in Blizzard are dicks, right? So if anything, a lot of these people were just like, oh, I've never really had the opportunity to be a dick and to be a louse and all this shit. And then later on, the moment they get power, that's the first thing they fucking look for, right? So, you know, that shit does happen. Anyways, before we move on to more Riot and stuff, we still have this picture up, and this leaves us to some community news. Don't really agree, but to each their own. Don't really agree with what? That people don't have the ability, that people, because they are weak, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are nice. Like, or they're, you know, like, I mean, we can agree to disagree, but, you know, I think sort of history's on my side when it comes to that, because, you know, you can't say that, oh yeah, I'm nice. Never had the opportunity to be mean. Right? Like, that's not like that. It's one of the reasons why we like anti-heroes. That's one of the reason why characters like Venom have any sort of like value whatsoever, because he's bad and he has the power to be bad. You know, it makes it easier to be one, I believe was his point. Yeah, no, yeah. So it doesn't make you one. It makes it easier to be one. The power makes. I don't really agree that the power makes you a shitty person. No, the power doesn't make you a shitty person. What the power does is it amplifies whatever shittiness you have. That's that's what it is. It's like the closer to fire you get, the hotter it is. It's something like that. Caius is the best anti-hero. That power makes no. So yeah, but it's you're hard pressed to find people who aren't even in the slightest like tempted by power. It happens all the time. Yeah. No, yeah. That's cool. Anyways, speaking of this,
we're all about discussion here. Absolutely.
Good way of putting it, Irish. That's Shadowleaf's way of saying shitty way of saying it, Crane. But hello, Shadowleaf. Shadowleaf and I have been serendipitously bumping into each other in every stream that we go into.
Oh yeah, no, she's a serial lurker is what they are.
No. I am a serial lurker. She's actually active on those streams. But yeah, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about, a little bit of community news, is Sleepeasy came up with this. It's like a fucking 3-hour video? It's not a 3-hour stream, by the way. It's a 3-hour video. He scripted it, edited it, everything. Yeah, it's a very long video. And the thing that's sort of amazing about this video is that a lot of people who hate sort of where the remake is going, Sleepeasy sort of is changing a lot of people's minds about that. So much so, in fact, that was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday, where Night Sky Prince actually sat down with Schrodinger's baby seal, and they were discussing sort of the future of it in light of Sleepeasy's video. It's a really interesting interpretation, yeah. And I mean, I still have a lot of reservations. I'm going to invite those guys here. It's already sort of been set up, but I'm going to give you guys the date when everything is settled, because you know how it works with streamers. Sometimes they say yes and they mean it, and then later on they back out because things, you know. I mean,
admittedly, we saw that with Blitz recently, where his house got flooded. So, you know, you never know what's going to happen these days.
Yeah, you don't know when people are just going to randomly summon a fucking, you know, summon Leviathan in some place.
It happens.
It does. Unfortunately, it does happen. But yes, so if you guys want to know a little bit of the gist of this, the little TLDR, it's basically saying that this is absolutely a sequel. I think we are sort of on the side of the fact that it is a sequel to Advent Children, and the one thing that this story is, one thing that his interpretation makes is really going for is sort of like everything that's happening is either it's a comeuppance for Sephiroth. Because the reality is that it's nice in a way because it kind of ties in people who are sort of pro Sephiroth and people who are sort of like pro Genovaroth. If you guys aren't familiar with this, the camps are basically this. There's Sephiroth, as in Sephiroth is he has full agency and everything he's doing is this, and Genova is sort of just like piggybacking along with him, or it's Genova. Genova's the one who's actually in charge of everything, and Sephiroth is really just playing second fiddle. And that's kind of those are sort of the camps that are happening. I'm more on the Sephiroth route. Like I think that Genova is more like a bacteria or some shit like that. And this theory sort of ties both of those things nicely with a lot of fucking lore. Oh, Irish said, alrighty, super long day and wife is getting up super early, which likely means Jonah will wake me up super early. I'll have to catch the VOD. Yes, you will catch the VOD because the VOD will be uploaded. I hope you guys really visit the YouTube channel. I'm aware of those theories. Yes, you should be, because I think you were there when Sleep Easy was debuting it on YouTube. So, yes. Sub to the new YouTube peeps. Yes, please do. I literally just, honestly, we get to 100. I'm kind of happy. Just 100 subscriptions. I'm kind of happy because at least it opens up a whole new world of opportunity for us on YouTube, because we're hard to even search. Petrified. Oh. I almost said her fake name. Petrified.
Yeah, we don't use fake names around here.
No, we only go with the real ones. I'm more in the Sephiroth camp, but I also like to think that there's a bit of two terrible people getting together to do terrible things. Well, this theory essentially puts into focus the fact that Genova has been, commandeering Sephiroth? Like, it's a nautical term. Commandeering Sephiroth to do all of her bidding, and Sephiroth, who is the real Sephiroth, has been dead and been in the live stream. And according to, it ties in well with Advent Children, because in Advent Children, the thing we dubbed on Still Thinking Films, by the way, the thing about
was pretty good.
Oh, indeed. In Advent Children and On the Way to a Smile, like the Black Materia, all of that kind of stuff, one of the things that they did talk about there is that Sephiroth doesn't actually know what he looks like. He doesn't know what he sounds like. He doesn't, like, there's all of these things where he's lost himself because he got sort of divided, or he got sort of eaten up by the live stream. And the reason why he clings to Cloud so much is because out of all the people who are living, Cloud is literally the only person who has like a vivid, haunting memory of Sephiroth. So that's one of the reasons why Kadaj and all of them, they are sort of like the harbingers of, of the Genova live stream, whatever. And they're going out and they want to turn into Sephiroth because Sephiroth is the most competent thing on the planet and is probably, because Genova is a mimetic species. And she
memes.
And she mimics things. That's the reason why people thought that she's an ancient, because she came to Earth, or she came to wherever, Gaia, whatever, and she saw ancients, and then she turned herself into an ancient. That's kind of what it is. So she saw Sephiroth and turned herself into Sephiroth. And with this sort of theory, if I'm getting this correctly, if hopefully I'm not spinning his words too much, is that Sephiroth, when Sephiroth died in Crisis Core, that was it. He was dead. The Sephiroth that you fight in Final Fantasy VII... Hold on.
Oh, that wasn't me. Someone didn't mute their phone.
Yeah, so the Sephiroth that you found in... it's not even my phone. The Sephiroth that you found in Final Fantasy VII in the game is actually not really Sephiroth. That's Genovaroth. And Sephiroth, what Sephiroth is doing now is that he's sort of breaking this time so that he can live again. So there are sort of two Sephiroths that are happening in Remake. And because of that, the This whole thing is to just bring that back. In fact, he even tied it into the fact that the reason why Sephiroth wanted Zack specifically to live is because Zack is the only other person who has memories of Sephiroth. So they're just sort of tying that whole thing in, and it sounds. Go for it.
I suppose you could kind of fiddle in maybe Hojo, but the way Hojo thinks about things, he's probably a lost cause because he wouldn't think about Sephiroth as an individual, more as a tool. So he's probably in there somewhere, but it would be such a non-factor trying to draw on memories of like Sephiroth, like his own personality from Hojo. Probably wouldn't go very well because that's not something Hojo as a person would commit to memory.
Yeah,
because he's also very much in that like cadre of characters that would know Sephiroth more intimately than like the rest of the cast.
Well, yeah, and
his.
And I think Sephiroth is trying to, like, the Sephiroth in the live stream is trying very hard to figure out who he is so that he can be whole again. I think that is sort of like the main part of the story. And I think he wanted the Harbingers, or sorry, the ghosts, right? The Whispers. The Arbiters of Fate. He needed them gone so that it's almost like a story of Sephiroth trying to unshackle himself from Genova. And I don't know which direction they might go if that really is the case. Are they going to go sort of the Sephiroth did nothing wrong route? Like, are they going to make him a hero? Or are they going to make him like the ultimate villain where now he's basically unshackled and Genova does not have control over him, and now we can really find Sephiroth for like who he really is. So that's kind of...
I like that idea.
Yeah, I think I'd be down for something along those lines, but you know, I do want to say that I'm going to tell you guys this so that you know in advance. But the thing that I want to bring up with like Sleep Easy and Schrodinger and a lot of people who are sort of on this camp is that the problem that I have with Final Fantasy VII Remake is that we don't necessarily know if something is a redesign or if it's a plot. Like, we don't know that. And I think Final Fantasy VII Remake does a very horrible job of actually letting us know what that is. So, for example, look. Cloud's Buster Sword, for example. What is that? Is that a just redesign the same way Tifa's stockings are a redesign? Is that a redesign, or is that like something we have to pay attention to because it's indicative of something? Because
well, actually, I do have some thoughts on that. Because I have replayed the game quite recently, so because I noticed that I had the free upgrade for the PS5 version, so I'm like, oh sure, I'll play through the game again. Why not? And I watched through all the cutscenes again, and kind of like last time I played it, we weren't doing all this streaming stuff, and we were doing these like deep dives into these games, and now we are. So I'm like recontextualizing my thoughts about the game. And I'm still in a very I don't know how, I don't have the pulse on whatever the different camps are in the 7 community for theories and stuff like that, because I'm usually not a big on theory crafting. I don't think about it that much. But because of the way Remake has kind of unfolded, it's ripe with theory crafting at the moment. And a lot of people do seem to focus on like this sort of Sephiroth angle, which makes sense. He's the baddie, the antagonist. He definitely seems to be sort of the main force behind all this happening. But I was interpreted in that he's more taking advantage of a situation to ultimately reach the same goal that you were talking about, and probably what was talking about in Sleep Easy's video. Because that, I think it's the right conclusion. Personally, I'm in more of a camp that actually Aerith is the source of all this happening, because she seems to have a handle more of what's going on, especially when you get the Chapter 14 scene where you have like the different character affections, and you can get Tifa, Aerith, or Barret. And I went out of my way and got the Aerith one again, and I think while there's definitely 2 Sephiroths, well, probably more than 2 Sephiroths, because he can possess any of the fucking experimental people. So you can have up to like, I don't know, 800 Sephiroths. That would be a problem. But like two main Sephiroths. You have like the time traveling one that's trying to deal with fate, and then the one that's just already existing in the plot. I also think there's two Aeriths popping around, where specifically the one that talks to Cloud at the beginning of chapter 14 is like they play it off like it's a dream, but they specifically have her fade off into like live stream tendrils and things like that. And I think that's like main timeline Aerith, and that like there's a certain sort of foggy merging of memories between Remake Aerith and main timeline Aerith. And so that's why she's aware of some things happening, like especially with all the Arbiters of Fate, because I think they're really focusing on her because she's source of this like spatial, temporal sort of like rewrite of the game. Mm-hmm. And for whether accidental or purposeful, or if it's both of them doing it because they both still have like a majority of their consciousnesses in the live stream, however that ends up working, I think that's more where it's going. But like I said, I don't know if that's even a camp. It probably is. I doubt I'm the first person to come up with this. I'm sure there's hundreds of people, thousands of people that think the same thing. But where it is, it's like instead of it being like a changing of the timeline or like a design tweak, like that crossed my mind when I was replaying through the game. And I feel like there's a distinct mood change whenever that happens. Like obviously whenever the whispers show up, that's when the timeline, like the characters are like coming to a crossroads where the timeline can change. So the whispers pop in to try to put it back onto course. But then like the design ones are like the clothes. I think like a lot of the side characters that they're just trying to integrate more compilation stuff and make it feel more whole. Whereas like we got Kyrie from, I think, On Way to a Smile. Is that the one she's from? Mm-hmm. Or is she from the different one? Okay. Like they implement her, Leslie, the CONSOULS name drop, the deep ground stuff. Obviously Nero and Weiss in Integrate and things like that. I think that is more retuning the world to be more whole with additions from the compilation, and less the timeline being rewritten by Aerith and or Sephiroth. Because I always feel that the whisper portions are very, very specific when they happen, and it's always when like a major event will occur. So I think they may not always be the case, because like I think when Aerith is contacting Cloud through the live stream or whatever, if you get that version of the cutscene in chapter 14, I think that's also one. And the others are just sort of like a recontextualization of, well, we couldn't do it at the time. We want to expand on it a little bit, like the train graveyard. Like there was nothing about children's souls getting captured by a giant monster in the train graveyard or things like that. So I think it's, I think there are clearer lines there, but that could just be theorizing on that. Like it could all like, we could end the game with like meeting the old cast that are all in the original outfits. But I think that's more like more just redesigns, because there's not that much of a difference between like Cloud's old outfit to Cloud's new outfit. Tifa has a pretty drastic redesign. Barrett is more just like kind of a straight up res and modernization of his outfit. So I think that's where that's going more so, where a lot of it is like the side quests, that's just kind of filling in a lot of the world a little bit more. And then the real timeline changes are more focused on the whisper segments, or when Aerith is being weird, or when Sephiroth is bugging Cloud's head, stuff like that.
I mean,
that's where I'm kind of at with that stuff.
I mean, if you think about it, like, okay, so there's sort of a couple of ways to go about this. When you said the whole thing about, okay, so when I said the whole thing about the Buster Sword and everything like that, like that's just a small chasm of the change that is sort of happening, right? Like, and the thing is, this is like we don't know if that's like intentional or if it's a redesign. Now, the thing is, there are bigger elements there that are sort of the question, right? It's like, okay, well, like for example, the fact that there are, if we look at them in terms of events, that's sort of a bigger problem, right? Because the redesigns, like some of the clothes, it's like, okay, sure, fine, whatever. Like that's not that indicative, right? However, if you look at things, and that's just a small microcosm of that. But if you expand it and you look at things sort of like, you look at, okay, so the event with Jesse, for example.
Okay.
That's actually a plot point. That's not a redesign. Now,
true.
Some events are redesigns. So, for example, you know, Tifa going, oh, you know, what about this drink, the Cosmo Canyon? It's like, okay, well, because for us, it's like this could just be a modernization of what happened in the past. Like what the original happened. So that could be that. But what if that's not? See, the problem with this, when you're doing a remake and a quote-unquote redesign all at the same time, is that it blurs the lines between things that you have to pay attention to, like detail and redesign, and that becomes that becomes an incredibly big problem. You know, I mean, look at it this way: it's like, okay, is it, you know, Cloud's voice is different? That's a redesign. That's a redesign. However, you know, there are people.
Well, in some versions it's different.
Well, yeah, like in it's in English, it's the only one, right? So that's one of the things. That's why it's kind of a moot point. However, there are people who have said, for example, there are people. I'm not saying who their names are, mainly because I can't remember them. I have no problem calling people out, because I'm just going to invite them to the stream and let them defend themselves, anyways. But there are people who've said that, oh, you know, the decision to change Sephiroth's voice in English is because of plot, and I'm like, really? Okay, like, oh, you know, his pronouns are different. Oh, okay. Like, in Japanese, his pronouns are different. I think we've had this discussion with Schrodinger, but he's not the one who said the whole thing about the voice. But do you see now, right? This is the reason why the theory crafting and everything like that becomes really, really difficult when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Remake, because we're stuck in this limbo of is it redesign, or is this retconning, or is this, you know what I mean? So Sephiroth is they them in Japanese, which is very strange, because the they them thing, it like depends on how far you go back to it. It's not necessarily a they them, by the way. Like for people who actually speak Japanese, that's not really a they them. It's more just like a neutral. So I guess it's equivalent to they them, but it doesn't mean that they're neither of the gender. It just means that it's a thing. It's an it.
Oh, we were being fed false information. Oh dear.
No. But Hash is saying this, but that's actually a point in this video, in Sleepy's video. It's actually a point where the way that Sephiroth refers to himself is different, like in different parts of the game. In fact, in Remake, when he talks about himself in the Remake, earlier on, some iterations of himself calls himself a he, and then some iterations of himself he calls himself an it. In Japanese. Obviously, that didn't translate into English, but that's sort of the point. Now now is that just figure of speech? Or is that not? Like, how deep are we going into this? Suna, who is here, welcome, Suna. Suna, who is here, also found stuff about like Marlene's tags and all of those. And how the big, again, one of the big question is that, is this redesign, or is it like a rewriting of it, or is it plot? Is the difference between those events supposed to happen? Because, like, for example, the whole thing with Madame M and the complete deletion of Mookie, that could just be what? That could just be redesign.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like a they're not actually asking us to be like, but where was Mookie? That's not really what that's not what they were trying to go for.
The gold saucer.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they were trying to go for. I think they were just trying to completely redesign that whole scene, that whole segment itself. It's like, this universe has Andrea. It's like, no, the universe has Andrea. So, you know, and I'm fine with them retconning, by the way. I am fine with them retconning. They've done that. We've had bigger problems with OG, the way Sephiroth died, and Last Order, the way Sephiroth died.
No, we did that. We changed his death.
Yes. Hey, Miss.
Hello there.
Miss Wayne Rib. I don't know how. I usually get it right, but I know you. We've been chatting in in other people's streams. So yeah, I think we were chatting in this stream.
Oh, you socialite.
I know. Well, the whole time that I wasn't streaming, I was watching other people stream. So, you know, I've been studying them profusely. Learning
their weaknesses.
Wine rib. Okay, cool. I usually get it right. Bold words. Wine rib. Well, I got it right the first time. Wine rib. So, there it is. Is that Kenshin? No, it's not. It's not. Sorry, I thought it was Genshin. I was like, not Genshin, Kenshin. Hence, Crane and I both bumping into each other everywhere. Yep, I think I've done that with Miss Winerib as well. So yeah. We were talking about this. Watching hot tub streams. Most definitely. No, there was no. Okay. Without any shame, I watched a hot tub stream. I'm not going to tell you whose, but I watched the hot tub stream because I saw the thumbnail and I was like, wait a minute. And the reason I did it was because they had the extension cord placed on a saucer on the water. And I'm like, oh, this could turn bad so fast. I'm watching basically. I'm like, oh.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's
Yo, that's some grade A entertainment, by the way. I know I'm being a dick, but you know, but like to catch that tragedy live would be freaking insane. And imagine, and it, you know, she was okay. Like, you know, she was like I know you guys call people like that butterfaces or something like that, but in the Philippines we call them shrimp. I'm allergic to shrimp, by the way, but we call them shrimp. Can you guess why? Why do we call butterfaces? We call them shrimp. Can you give me your best guess why we call it shrimp in Luke?
Well, shrimp don't have pretty faces. They got all that gangly stuff in the front.
Well, close.
Has something to do with that?
Well, close. Yeah. Well, you know how when you eat shrimp, you eat everything but the face. So that's the reason why. So I'm just like, oh, you know, that's you know, but she did have a pretty fit body, and she would have had an electrocuted body as well. So she could have been a deep fried shrimp, you know.
Would have been really hot then.
Yep. It's a really hot stream. All right, so moving on because we spent a little too much time on this one. Next in the news, we are going to talk about this movie came out. How many of you have watched this movie, Eternals? How many of you have watched? Luke, have you watched Eternals?
I have not watched Eternals. In fact, I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet.
You haven't watched Shang-Chi?
No, because if you recall, I'm still kind of stuck at home with the foot recovery. Like I'm actually very, very close to fully recovering from that. Hopefully, well, fully recovering / remission. The holes are almost closed on my feet. So,
okay.
But so I'm still really stuck at home. And honestly, I've never been a big fan of the theater experience anyway. And so when it was like, oh, well, it's only going to be in theaters and it's still advised that I don't move around that much, I was just like, I can wait. I can wait for the movies to come out later on Disney Plus or whatever. And it's just like, yeah. Unfortunately, like I haven't really seen that many spoilers. I think I know about like the Hulk or specifically the Bruce Banner like post credits one, because it was like impossible to avoid that one for Shang-Chi. But like aside from trailers, I really don't know anything about the movie of the Eternals. I almost said Internals.
I think that would have been a funnier movie. The Internals.
The Eternals. They're mole people. They live in the earth.
It's a story of 5 people who work in server rooms. Right? At Blizzard.
That's how you get to Office Space.
No, they work in server rooms at Blizzard. I think I'd love to watch that movie. That sounds more like a Netflix thing, or a Hulu thing. Mm-hmm. You know, they do documentaries. So, yeah. That would be great. Mm-hmm. But so the thing about this movie is that I am going to make a prediction that most people don't know what the fuck is going on in this movie. They have no idea what's going on with this
Probably.
movie. I watched the movie last night, and I'm a pretty big, Marvel nerd, and I couldn't understand anything that was going on in this movie.
I heard that the couple like tweets I saw about it that were like that I follow that they also happened to go see the movie. They're like, it was interesting and weird, and I think I liked it, and that's pretty much the mood I got from them. So it's like, not sure if that's the kind of initial reaction you want from your audience, where it's like you're going with not necessarily obscure characters, but definitely mainstream obscure characters, and it's a lot of them. You're introducing.
Wait, what the fuck is a mainstream obscure character?
No, so. Like a comic fan, like who's really into the Marvel stuff, will probably know at least something about the Eternals, or maybe like about their origin or how they're technically associated with Thanos vicariously. So like something like that. But like to a mainstream audience, they will know absolutely fucking nothing about the Eternals. That's the point I'm trying to make. Where it's like, if they're a comic fan, they'll know They might know a couple things if they're really into that kind of stuff. Like the same thing has kind of like very similar with like the New Gods. And like Darkseid, not Darkseid himself, but like the whole like conflict with the New Gods and stuff like that, and the leaders traded their sons and stuff like that. Like the mainstream like watchers of like DC movies won't necessarily know all that, but if you're like into the comics and like the Jack Kirby stuff, then you'll probably know something about the New Gods. And that I kind of equate the New Gods and the Eternals. I don't know if that's a really good one-to-one, but in my mind, I kind of equate the two.
I mean, I know that they're trying to do this more for setup. Like, so, Shang-Chi,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm glad Shang-Chi did well. I have some sort of harsh opinions about Shang-Chi, but I know that for the most part, movies like Shang-Chi and movies like, well, actually, never mind, because Shang-Chi is build up, you're trying to build up for the character itself. But Eternals is supposed to be a build up to a world plot point, like the universe plot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what was going on. So was Eternals all right? Eternals was okay. I think some of the humor is better in that movie than it was in Shang-Chi. These movies are really difficult when they have so many characters that you have to follow. Not necessarily because the characters aren't interesting or whatever. It's just that, when you have a lot of people on screen, you're battling with time, right? And
it's true.
You're fighting for screen time. And screen time usually means plot time, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are characters that don't need that much screen time, but you get their plot really easily. But the thing is, the problem with the Eternals is that the Eternals is there's a little bit of convolution that's happening here, and this is the part where so when I watched the whole thing, I sat back and I'm like, okay, what do the post-credit scenes mean, and what do all of this? And I sort of understand now what they're getting at. I can't tell you guys because you guys already watched it. Haven't watched it, but when you watch it, let me know, right? At least most of you. I don't have that many viewers, so all 20 of you. If you watched it, then I'll spill the beans. But the problem, I think, with it is that they're getting into really, 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 really auxiliary, like obscure levels of Marvel. And
I think Shang-Chi and Eternals are actually very good examples of that, where it's like, okay, now we're starting to get away from, even a casual audience will be like, oh yeah, Ghost Rider. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure, Ghost Rider. Like the Nick Cage movie. Sure, we can get Ghost Rider again. Or Fantastic Four, like we're eventually going to get in the
No, Fantastic Four. No, well, Fantastic Four is a little bit different. Fantastic Four is insanely popular.
Yeah, I'm saying like those are more the mainstream.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
Those are
when you hit like Shang-Chi, the Eternals, and even some of the Netflix shows, when you got like Iron Fist and Luke Cage, and those shows, like the not Daredevil, because I think Daredevil is actually more well known, but like when you got like the Defenders and Jessica Jones and those characters, like those were definitely more sort of like heading towards the obscure end of the scale.
Yeah, but then Eternals is more obscure than that.
I would agree. So it was interesting to see this announcement, and I still haven't seen, like I said, I haven't seen the movie yet. I do have a question for you though.
Shoot.
Because I am very attached to a character of the same name, different universe. How is the character of Gilgamesh? That's all I care about. Is Gilgamesh a good character?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought of you the moment they mentioned they showed Gilgamesh, and you know what? I think you'd be happy. He's not Ophi, but he's definitely but he's definitely a funny character, and he's definitely powerful as fuck. So,
good, very important.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think there's really gonna be any other Gilgamesh that tops like Fate's Gilgamesh, because I think that's like the most overpowered we're ever gonna get for Gilgamesh. But you know,
no, but that Gilgamesh is definitely not the best Gilgamesh. No, he might be the most powerful,
no.
But he's not the best. We know who the best is.
No, clearly,
it's you. There we go.
Exactly.
He had to do the laugh.
There we go.
But yeah, this kid. No, he doesn't, and he did not fight on a bridge. That is a clear, definite spoiler. If you weren't here for the intro, then we do spoilers. Isn't that right, Alchemic? I don't even know if she's still in here. She's probably lurking all the way from Canada, from Canada.
Most likely.
But yeah. So Eternals, we got a lot to talk about that kind of stuff because you might come back to me and say, Crane, can you please explain what happened in Eternals? And I'll be like, sure. And then I will tell you, you're right, but hey, hey now, don't say about.
See,
I'm gonna hear that Canadian about.
Gilgamesh just punched all the bad guys really, really hard, and he won.
No, actually, I'm going to spoil this for you guys right now. Sorry, guys, you're about to get spoiled. Gilgamesh slaps people really fucking hard. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes, he does.
I'm all for it.
As a half Canadian, I join in on the A. All right. Well, anyways,
more about it's half.
Well, enough about Eternals because I can't even like spill the beans. Like, this show, I made the show so that I can spill the beans. But as respect to all 20 of you, we'll see how this ages in the future. But I will keep my mouth shut for now. So,
for now.
Next topic, on the topic of things that dropped and everybody's into, we got this. Super Robot Weeb.
What?
Wars. Sorry.
You ain't wrong. I mean, you ain't wrong.
Talk about things that might be obscurely not mainstream, right? Talk about things that were obscurely... Okay, you take this one. I'm going to take a dinner break, okay? I literally put this here because I knew I was about to get hungry at this time, and you were just going to take over. So...
I can absolutely do that. Oh, see, our guy's popping in now. There we go. I am still going. So here's the thing. And I was talking to Crane about this before we started. I refuse to play this game off stream, and it kills me on the inside. Every second I've been playing this stream, aside from a little bit
I have to go into this little corner.
Yeah, you didn't think about that for your new layout, did you?
No. No. Only I am allowed to nunny the fuck. It is only
nunny the fuck.
It is only me.
Okay.
All right, continue.
So, all right. So, yeah. So first of all the game. I can't talk anymore. I've only been playing this game on stream because I have had so many great reactions to it, and not just like oh ha I found this joke funny. I do a big streamer thing. No, like I'm legitimately enjoying the game, and I like that people get a little bit of enjoyment out of me enjoying the game. And I know I've introduced some people to some fun stuff, and now they're a little interested. And so I don't want to, take away that chance that someone might get interested from the game because I couldn't stop playing and played it for like 48 hours straight. But if you don't know about Super Robot Wars 30, so it is a strategy RPG starring a bunch of various mecha-focused shows from Japan. And it is just a big, wacky crossover where a bunch of nonsense happens. And it's just a glorious view for the eyes, because this game is known. Yeah, this series is known for its beautiful attack animations. Like, it is a franchise known for its gorgeous attack animations, and this is the first the first official release of a Super Robot Wars title in the Western speaking market. There's a couple little asterisks, caveats there. They did manage to release a couple original generation games, because there's so much legal red tape with all these franchises. In here you see Mazinger Z, there's Gundam, there's J-Decker, there's Gao Gaigar, Gridman, Magic Knight, Ray Earth, Code Geass. In previous iterations, we've had Big O, we've had Cowboy Bebop, Robotech / Macross, which is the big problem.
Whoa! You said there was Cowboy Bebop too?
Not in this game specifically, but Cowboy Bebop, I think, showed up in the game right before this, or like very recently. Cowboy Bebop has been in this franchise.
No, but I'm talking about Super Robot Wars, like franchise itself. Like,
yes.
You really?
Yeah, like you get to play Spike Spiegel, and you get to be in the Swordfish. I think that's what his ship is called.
What the fuck? Okay, so I was surprised because I was actually watching you. I actually lurk you all the time. I'm trying to like bump your numbers up.
You filthy lurker, but thank you.
Yeah, because that's what we do, trying to bump you down. But yeah, his tiny ship. Yeah, well, I mean, he doesn't. I don't think he needs to compensate. We obviously know he has a small dick. He compensates with his fighting, not his. His ship is actually accurate to his penis size. But when but what I was actually surprised, because I was watching you and I was just like, wait, Code Geass is in this? And I saw Magic Knight Ray Earth, and I'm like, Magic Knight Ray Earth is in this? I'm like, it's so funny too, because my it hit levels of weebness that I am a part of. So I'm just like, I don't know what all this shit. I don't know what the fuck Gridman is. I don't know what the fuck. Oh, man, this is way too many Gundams. Oh, this is so weeby. Magic Knight Ray Earth? Code Geass? They even had Gun X Sword, right? Like Gun Sword. Is that, how do you say that word? Gun X Sword, right?
I don't know. I know they like replacing X with, like, they pronounce it as cross. It could be Gun Cross Sword. It could be Gun X Sword. It could be just Gun Sword. It could be any of those three, because it's a lottery with how they use the X in Japan.
Yeah. But
Hunter, which doesn't pronounce the X.
Oh, I thought you meant Hunter x Hunter was in this. I was like, woo, boy.
No.
No, okay.
There's a robot that fights with yo-yos, but we don't have Hunter x Hunter.
No, I know the robot. That is the robot who fights with. That's what was it? Not is it? No, it's Combattler V, right? Combattler V fights.
Combattler V, yeah.
Yeah, I know Combattler V. I know Voltus 5. I know Voltron. Voltron was in this, right? Like,
Voltron's another series that's been in this. Obviously, it was Go Lion. It wasn't our English version. It was the Japanese version. Which, fun fact, for those that don't know, Voltron was actually way more successful here in the West than it was as Go Lion in Japan.
Oh, Voltus 5 Voltus 5 is going to be DLC? Isn't Voltus 5 like... Isn't Voltus 5 to Mecha is sort of what Sailor Moon is to Magical Girl, isn't it? Isn't that kind of like how that works?
I don't like. I watched the DLC trailers, but I don't remember, because I don't know Voltus 5, so I don't remember.
Well, Voltus 5, I think
like,
I think it's supposed to be like the oldest mecha. I think Voltus 5 was like the oldest one.
I thought the oldest one was like. Well, I guess no, that would have been just robots. Because the oldest one I was thinking of was Gigantor. Because that one's old, but that's actual, just like, it's a robot, not like a mecha. Yeah. But I mean, we have Gridman in here, which very much blurs the lines, and we're getting Ultraman in DLC.
Yeah. Ultraman is not a mecha. Ultraman is
it's not.
He's a man who just goes who can grow big.
He gets big. Yeah.
So he's actually more of a. Doesn't that technically make him more of a kaiju than a mecha? Yeah.
It's very much under like the tokusatsu umbrella, and that's very much what Gridman is. And even in here, like this game in particular, they're really like mixing and mashing like what quantifies as a super robot for Super Robot Wars. They're just like, okay, well, we have Gridman, who's like he's technically a dude that grows big, and he like fuses his mind with like a kid who's actually him. It's complicated, but like the Ultraman people are people in suits that grow big. Like they're essentially just Power Rangers with a different power set.
Yeah, so they're like they're more like Sentais than in the sense,
yes,
right?
Yes,
like common people.
And common people, yes, common writers. And they've done a game before where it was a crossover between Gundam, Ultraman, and Kamen Rider, like in the same style. But they went with like the super deformed Gundams as like their own characters, and that's how they kind of like justified it. Where it's like, oh yeah, because they're all smaller and they're human size, and that's why we use the SD Gundams, and that's why they can team up with people. Even the Ultraman grows really big, so it's all
yes,
it's
pirate,
not hentai pirate.
Yes, so much.
Yes, and
so
no.
much, so much. It's
yeah,
well,
so
I mean,
like
no. Speaking of hentai, by the way. We have to give credit where credit is due, all right? So I know we're giving a lot of credit to Super Robot Wars for being like, oh, they're mashing up all of these characters and all these things from all of these different titles and stuff. But let's set the record straight. Hentai has been doing that far longer. They've way ahead of their time. They've been doing that way longer than Super Robot Wars has, or any sort of crossover has. So like, do you understand what will happen if one day Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z like have a video game where they're where they finally cross over, and everyone who's and all the people who watch hentai are just gonna be like,
yeah, and
yeah.
This is brand new to me.
That's how you know.
I've seen this before in my life.
That's how you know when it comes out, when they go, oh, you know that Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon finally have a crossover. The person who goes, oh, haven't they always? You look at that person and be like, ooh, we know who's sus. Oh, we know who's sus.
True.
We know who's sus. Anyways, I actually wanted to go over from this to let's talk about esports. Do you guys even watch esports or anything like that? Are you guys into esports at all? I played League, and I know I played League with a couple of you, but I don't know that you guys are really, really much into esports, are you? Light blue dress. Oh, how come that didn't work? Here, let me get you the light blue dress.
Maybe because it's a new costume, and because it's not active.
Oh, it didn't override the other one.
There's two of them now.
1 second. Let me fix that.
She's duplicating. A lot of wishes are being granted right now.
I know. They're like, no, what is this? What is going on? But yeah. So there. Tusu?
Two?
But anyways, if you guys aren't really into esports, too bad, because I want to talk about some esports. It's gonna be really quick, so let's just get into our esports section. Yes, so this is our little segment. But yeah, okay. Well, I need to.
Was that Blitzball music?
I don't know what you're talking about. Yazora, if you get enough of them craneberries, bro, then you can definitely ask for that Evelyn outfit. Although I don't know, I don't necessarily know if it would be an outfit, because it would technically be more like body paint. But I will see what I can do. I think I just sold him on it, by the way, just right now. Nani? Is that a Blitzball?
Blitzball!
By the way, on the next stream, because I haven't activated all the redeems, not because they're not ready yet. It's just that I need to create their own little thumbnail, so I won't allow you guys to press it until then. But we do have a Blitzball Sue redeem. We have a Blitzball Sue redeem. Yes.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah, and can you guess what she says? Can you guess what Sue says as a Blitzball? Can you? No, you can't. You can't. I know you cannot. It's all right, boys. Take your time. Take your time. But yes.
Can't. Now, I have a question.
Yes.
Can Sue teach me how to blitz?
No. Because the first thing she'll say is like, "You must be one with the blitz ball," and then turn into one.
Oh, okay. I understand.
So that's
she has achieved her final form.
Yes, she has. She has. Oh, B, a couple of words short, but you know what? Pretty close. Pretty close. It's along those lines. But all right. So first off, on esports news, I don't know if you guys care about it, but I do. It's my stream, and I'll cry if I want to. So speaking of crying, if I want to,
cry.
Probably one of the most popular esports players in the world, Faker, from T1, formerly SKT, actually made it to Worlds. They made it to Worlds, not as the first seed, but they made it to Worlds, and then they sort of blew their chance in the quarterfinals. So, grueling 5 games. It went to 5 games. It went to Silver Scrapes, but a boy, I guess, sort of lost to Showmaker, and that's sort of bad news for him. That's sort of bad news for him, which is really sad because, you know, it's really, as much as I like seeing gods bleed, I actually don't like seeing gods cry. So, you know, that's always sad because, you know, I don't want the weather to change. All right. And speaking of gods crying, because this is where I cry, is, so if you guys aren't familiar, I'm a very big fan of TSM. And Bjergsen, who is part owner of TSM, who I follow all the time, actually left TSM. He actually left TSM, and he's actually moving to Team Liquid. So the big question here is not actually, the news isn't actually about him. It's about me. What am I going to do? Now it's really making me think of like whether I love TSM more, or do I love Bjergsen? Do I love Bjergsen because he's on TSM, or do I love TSM because of Bjergsen?
And
now, really, I think what we need here is the two teams to come up against each other in like finals, so they can be really torn. Honestly, like I think that's the end goal, and these teams should really focus on that specifically to make your heart feel pain.
Fuck the universe when it comes to this. Okay, well, that's sort of sad news for me. But Team Liquid. So while the NA LCS teams are sort of building up their rosters, we kind of don't know what TSM is going to do. I'm really more on that. I hope they keep Spica. I think they're getting tactical from Team Liquid, but Team Liquid does look pretty stacked. They're the only ones who are confidently giving out their rosters. They have Whippo on the top lane, Santorin, and Bjergsen on the mid lane. They have Hansama, and they have Core JJ. So
now, because you mentioned this before, is he shifting positions?
No. He's actually
was that someone else?
No, that's someone else. We thought that person was shifting positions. It was his longtime rival Jensen. Who was the mid laner, but it turns out that he literally just got the boot. He just got kicked off of Team Liquid.
Oh.
So, and Bjergsen replaced him, so that must be very, very bad. That must feel very, very bad. Which is funny because TSM didn't go to Worlds, and Jensen with Team Liquid went to Worlds, and then he gets replaced. So, yeah, there's a lot of like, the main reason why I watch the NALCS nowadays is because it's sort of my new wrestling. They're really it's I'm there for the drama. I don't think they're gonna win Worlds anytime soon, so I'm there mostly for the drama. Oh yes.
Now you say new wrestling. Now does that imply that there was a point in your life that you were into wrestling?
Oh hell yeah, bro! I was like the biggest Undertaker fan. The biggest. I used to believe that the ghost actually came out of the fucking gourd.
So not Biker Taker.
No.
You weren't Biker.
No. The Undertaker, the actual Undertaker as an Undertaker, not Undertaker as not an Undertaker. Yeah,
that's fair.
That's an important distinction. And lastly,
it is.
Lastly, on our esports news, for those of you guys might be a little bit familiar with this, but lastly on our esports news, we have Dissidia NT. We have Dissidia NT. It is not an esport. Fuck you, NT. You guys had one fucking job, and you didn't fucking do that. Ooh. Damn it, man. I was so
Remember
ready
when
for
they were
this to
gonna-
be. I was so ready for this to be a fucking esport.
Remember when they said they were going to put in a new character every month? Remember when they said that?
Yes.
Oh boy. People argued with me on Facebook over me being like callous towards Dissidia NT. Like I was like, they've said something different every single like news release. Like, no, it's not connected to the old games. Oh, now it's connected. Oh, it doesn't have a story mode. Oh, it has a story mode. Oh, we're gonna get a character out every month. I'm like, no, they're not. they are so confused. They have no idea what's going on. They have no I'm going to use a trigger word here. Roadmap for gamers. That can be a trigger word. They have no roadmap of what they're going to do. Most of their DLC were just monks. That was disappointing. Oh, you got triggered. And it's not an esport.
No, it's not an esport. This motherfucking game isn't an esport. No, and it never will be. Yeah, Opera Omnia is in fact better than NT. I do admit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But check back next time because we will give an update on NT to see if it has actually become an esport.
Yeah, we will always check that out. It was this close. My fingers in my one finger's in the other room and my thumb is is outside. That's how close it was to being an esport. But yeah, so yeah, thank you guys so much. That's pretty much our esports segment. So yep, let's just go back, get everything back into place. We're done with the esports. Yes, you can see
everyone can come back into the stream now. It's safe.
Yep. All right. So last time we talked about this, and what we also have to talk about is this. This is something that I actually missed. I wasn't streaming around this.
That's right.
Yep.
The Sony State of Play.
State of Play.
Now, yeah, because you were, but have you seen it since? Have you seen it since?
I think I forgot it the moment they ended. So
that's very fair. That's very fair.
That's literally what happened to me. It's a defense mechanism because I don't like popping my blood vessel. So now instead of popping my blood vessel, I just like disappear. Like I just.
I enjoy seeing the frenzy of all the Final Fantasy content creators. That every time there's some sort of event, they're like, okay, we're going to see more from Remake. We're going to see more for Final Fantasy 14, we're going to see more from 16, we're going to see more about Kingdom Hearts every single time, and we see nothing. Every single time, because they tell us we're not showing that, but they're like, but what if they do? But they really don't lie to us very often about that kind of stuff. So there's the content creators are really hankering for some content. It's all I'm saying. But it's really fun seeing them sort of just like fall apart after every single event.
Hash is like, come on, man. I haven't even played part 1 and I just want part 2 so bad. You're talking about Remake, right? I hope.
I would presume.
I would presume that too. And then get despair. Yes. Disparaged, more likely. But, well, I do think that the community is sort of doing it to themselves, really. I think they're hankering for some drama. You know, this is not insider information, but this is just my intellectual guess. But I know that the content creators, they make great content when they're molding. I know they do. They want to be mad that things didn't show up. Because if it does show up, then they give them content. If nothing shows, then they still have content. Does that make sense? Because if they make the prediction, if they don't make a prediction, for example, if they don't make a prediction and something shows up, and a trailer like FF7 Remake shows up, then all of a sudden they have a video to make, right? But if they make a prediction that something might happen, and that they will be mad. Not just something will happen, but that they will be mad if it doesn't, or something like that, or oh, I won't be surprised, or oh, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if the reaction is positive or negative. It doesn't really matter as long as they state it, because what they're doing is they're setting themselves up for content. If they don't make any sort of like statement whatsoever, they don't make a video, and nothing comes out, then they post nothing, which is bad because their job is to create content. So I'm not saying that this is devised. I'm not saying that they are literally making it that way, but I'm just saying that it's a good strategy. It sort of does make more content. So when nothing happens from this thing, then they have something to talk about. Me, since I wasn't creating content, I don't really care. But what was in there? What was in the state of play, by the way?
So we do have a rundown of games, because I did watch this. I don't believe I streamed it. I streamed something. I think I streamed a Nintendo. It was a Nintendo Direct that I streamed a while back. But this one I did not stream because it was at like ungodly hours or something like that. I don't quite remember when it took place, but it was like, nah, I'm not streaming that. But first one on the list was Deathverse Let It Die. It is apparently it seemed very battle royale. Here it's called a survival action multiplayer game. So yeah, battle royale.
What is it called again?
Deathverse.
Oh, is that the one where
Deathverse Let It Die?
Is that the one where they can't die, where they just sort of like start resetting, like where they start respawning? Is that the timey-wimey one?
Like that. Like it could have been. Let me run back through these.
Because people have been shitting on a game like that. Like I know I've seen that multiple times. I've seen that in State of Play. I've seen that in like a lot of these shows where they're just pretty much giving us updates. I don't really like it when we flame at those things because I would rather they give us those than nothing. It's one of those things where it's this generation they're getting all upset because they're like, oh, how come E3's like this or blah 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 or Well, you gotta remember two things. First of all, right? One, they didn't update us on this in the past. This wasn't a thing. Like it's newly a thing. So just calm down. Secondly, you can't expect them to put that much effort into it when they haven't sold any tickets. If this were like E3 Live and they were selling tickets, they better put out like the most amazing shit. Because if they put out the most amazing shit in this State of Play or in E3 online digital, then when they finally get the chance to do it live, no one's gonna go live anymore. No one's gonna watch it live anymore. So that's just my 2 cents on that. But
yeah, State of Play has been very notorious since its inception. That's been very, very underwhelming. I believe every single time, or at least almost every single time. And that's because they do save their heavy hitters for like the Game Awards or Tokyo Game Show or its own like special reveal event. Like State of Play is not a thing where Sony like reveals really big like heavy hitters. Not like where like Nintendo does the Direct and be like, all right, well, we're doing a Zelda Direct. That's where we're going to talk about all the Zelda stuff or Mario Direct. They'll always state beforehand, it's like, all right, there's going to be a heavy hitter here. But State of Play never has that. It's in its existence for like, I think the past couple of years at this point. It's always been for sort of like lower B tier stuff and below. And I think that's really affected it because every single time people come out of it, it's like, okay, but I'm not really excited about anything. And a lot of people have been like, well, this one's very, very forgettable. With aside from like Star Ocean got some buzz, that may have been it.
Honestly, I saw the Star Ocean.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
I saw the Star Ocean, and you know what? Honestly, I don't know if this is me being a bitch or something like that, but it doesn't look very good.
It doesn't look very good. No, I agree. It looks like it's about 2 generations behind.
Yeah,
especially in the face.
It actually gives me hope because, for some of you who don't know, like we are trying to make a video game, and with some of the stuff that we have, it looks more advanced.
Yeah.
Like their character models, I was just like, oh, is this on the DS or some shit? Like, what is this? What is this on?
Yeah. So, like I can't even say like some standouts. Like they had King of Fighters 15 reveal, but Koei Tecmo's been doing that on their own week after week after week. So it's not like, oh, we revealed another character. Great, you've been doing that for months now. A new character every week, sometimes two. We had new Five Nights at Freddy's, which I didn't see a lot of buzz about that. I'm not too like clued in on if that that sort of player base is still really, really huge. It definitely feels like a lot of the excitement has died off. But maybe this will be like a big comeback game for, not necessarily that like there was any sort of massive failing, but like I feel like each Five Nights game has kind of had diminishing returns, maybe since like the third one, because I think the second was still very, very big, maybe even the third one, but it's definitely had diminishing returns. We had the indie title We Are OFK, where I'm still not entirely sure why it's a video game. Where you're controlling an indie pop band in some sort of origin biopic, and they definitely like show it off that it's going to be a game and that it's an episodic title, but we have really no idea what any of that means. So it could be sort of maybe like maybe like a Telltale-esque game. Maybe it's like more of an adventure game. Maybe it's just strictly visual novel stuff. But it was kind of, it felt like it had a very confusing identity to it. Like they have a concept, but maybe not right for a game because they didn't really show off gameplay. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Bugsnax expansion.
Oh, by the way, I just wanted to... Yeah, so Hash had to go, but Heroic subscribed again. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you so much.
It doesn't feel like it's been 6 months. Oh, no. I don't know where you're going with that. Does it mean it feels like it's been longer? Feel like it's been shorter? I don't know. It feels sort of short to me. But yeah, this is sort of Heroic. Just to catch you up, this is sort of the new look of my streams now because I really don't want to play games. I really don't. I'd rather talk about them all fucking day. But yeah, it feels like it's been longer. Wow. Okay. I don't know if that's positive or negative, but just look at the Subal.
I mean, I mean, technically, according to my subscription, it's been 7 months.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's positive. Okay. Cool. Well, just know that these episodes are just gonna go straight to YouTube, and you can watch all of my shenanigans, all that shit. Wait, Crane plays video games? Yes. I just don't like playing them in front of you guys.
No, that's my job.
No, the thing is, we will play games on this stream, but very special. I'll tell you guys a little bit about that later. You did ask about Dehima. I have been writing a lot, and when I say writing a lot, I mean a lot, because we sort of decided that whatever we do, we are going to try to make it a franchise instead of just like a one-off. So if we decide to do that, then that means I need to make a lot more writing, or else I'm going to run into the same problems that Nomura has with Final Fantasy VII, and then I would be nothing but a hypocrite. And yeah, so I make sure that I'm writing everything in, like 5 games, 5 installments into the future. Because if we stop at 1, then I mean, okay. But if we go further, then we can go further with that. So yeah, a lot of ECHO-S is also taking up a lot of my time. It's one of the reasons why like I wasn't here for a bit. Oh yeah, I know. Dehima is like, I'm putting a lot of my eggs in that basket. So what are you talking about, Yuzora? You don't know? We're making a video game. Yeah. Did you see the video for the 15-minute gameplay? Oh yes, I did. And when I saw the trailer for Elden Ring, I was like, oh boy, looks like all of the Souls fans are going to be playing that instead of Final Fantasy Origins Strangers. So is it Stranger in Paradise or Strangers of Paradise?
Strangers. Oh, I don't remember. I want to say in Paradise. Strangers in Paradise.
I mean, it sounds like a Bone Thugs and Harmony song or some shit like that. Something like that. But anyways, been busy project people. Tell us more about this game. Oh, you don't know? Oh, yeah, that's right. Shadowleaf has only been recently hanging around the Suna squads. So Final Fantasy, yeah, Strangers in Paradise. I'll be playing Heroic. I know you'd be playing both. I'd be playing both too. I don't have a PS5 though, so I mean, yeah. But yeah, I know you're making a video game. I just didn't know if you were talking about it. Yeah, well, I will tell you guys about some of that stuff when we're a little further along. But yeah, yeah. If you want, join our Discord. There it is. Yeah, we do talk about that kind of stuff. But
Nope.
But anyways, just to wrap up the whole state of play thing, I heard you talking, and I think I was right. I don't remember. They don't seem very memorable.
No, like just to wrap up these last few, Bugsnax got an update. Looks, admittedly, it's a free update. I'm not sure if it's like a full, like, they have a new area. They can put hats on things. That's cute, I guess. I think everyone forgot Bugsnax even existed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Indie title Death's Door, which seems to be a isometric, I don't want to say roguelike, because I don't think it's roguelike. I think it's more akin to sort of like a Metroid, maybe a Metroidvania type of like RPG system.
Oh, okay, so it's like a platformer type.
Yeah, but kind of think more like the movement base is more akin to like Hades. But it didn't appear to be like a roguelike, but that's kind of, like the isometric view, you're kind of backed up. It is 3D though, so it looks cute, but I don't know if it'll exactly be my thing, but it looks cute. It is also a Devolver Digital title, so, and they are very proficient in these types of games, and they're usually very, very good. I've heard a lot of good things about the Devolver Digital games. I've not played any myself, but I've heard nothing but good things about their games. So.
Wow.
We got Kartrider Drift, which looks like it was a kart racer that they would sell at Burger King or a McDonald's sort of type thing.
Yo, bro, that actually could be big.
It could be. From what I hear, it's actually pretty, like, it is a franchise that is apparently very big in China, because of course it is. So that's probably why it was at the State of Play.
Why don't we just all sell China games because they are making the most money? I know. Yeah. They're the ones dishing out the most money. The one thing I will make mention about that whole thing, there's one problem that I don't like when it comes to the whole China thing, right? The one thing that, amongst many things, the one thing I don't like about it when China sort of is trying to buy the market, or when you're trying to sell to China, the problem is that they end up dictating the creative choices, the artistic choices of the games. Like, for example, League. And don't be surprised, but because they've been trying to sell League of Legends to China, that's why for 2 years in a row we've had Worlds at China. But they've been trying to sell it to them, and because of that, we haven't had a monster character in forever. Because they are dictating, like, what comes out. If
that's why we got the pop star character.
Yes, that's the reason why we have Seraphine. But yeah, harassment. I know, you should have been here, buddy. You should have been here. But yeah. When it comes, and that's one of the reasons why, like, I don't like. I think Genshin is an example of the opposite happening, where Genshin's target market are mostly from the West. And because of that, we are sort of deciding, like, we are making we are helping, at least, push the creative decisions to our favor. Which is why, I know this sounds weird, but it's one of the reasons why we have characters like Venti, who is a very feminine-looking male, and China's actually trying to undo that. They're trying to make sure that does not happen. But I like it. I think it's better in our hands in the West. I know it makes me sound really like Western bias, but it's also because we're also the most diverse. We are the most diverse. Because trust me, if China gets to decide what all the League characters look like, then essentially even the Yordles, all of them will eventually turn human and they'll all be hot.
Oh, you know what? Oh, I want to say I ran across this story where I don't remember if it was Korea or China. I think it was probably China, where it has now become a fad for parents to get like their very, very young children like these helmets to mold their head into a round shape because it's more. Yeah, this was definitely China because it is more. It's better of their beauty standards to have a round head, and so when they have their young children and their bones are still forming, they're getting these helmets to kind of put that into a nice round shape.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh god, that sounds awful.
Have you heard of iFold tape?
I have not.
It's basically this. So, I'm Asian, but then, I'm also not like full Asian. So, see the eyelid folds? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these are considered beautiful in Asia. So what they do is they actually sell these in stores where it's like it's a transparent thing that you put here on your eyes, and then so that when you so it'll give you the eyelid folds. Yes, that is in fact an Asian thing. that is by far an Asian thing. So yeah, they got some beauty standards, and we are definitely much more liberal when it comes to our beauty standards and our diversity, so to speak. So that's the reason why that Final Fantasy characters, or not Final Fantasy, but League of Legends characters, because we were talking specifically about League of Legends, is that's one of the reasons why that there is a big swath of characters. You had like the little cutie like Yordles, you had like animal people, you had like big burly monsters, you had like people in armor, you had like anime looking motherfuckers, and it was just all over the place, which I think personally is fucking fantastic. I think that is.
When was the last time League has got a robot, and not a robot skin?
Not a robot skin. Oh yeah, like a full on robot. We haven't.
Just Blitz, Blitzcrank. We have like Urgot and Victor that have like robot parts, but we haven't had a single full-on robot since we only have
Vols. Hey Vols.
Hi,
I missed you. How have you been? It's been a while. Yes, this is my first time back. Essentially online. Harassment, you missed the intro, but you'd love that too. Vols. I'm not gonna bother you about some of your projects because I really want to know how those are turning out. But I'm so glad every time I see Vols' name here, like it does make me very, very, very happy. Been stupidly busy with a lot of things, including the Mozart piece. There we go. There's one of our projects. But yes, welcome to Cranefreeze. This is going to be a regular thing now. Hey, marriage. What is up? Hello. Oh yes. No, fuck you. You can leave. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you so much for subscribing.
Oh, thanks, Araxman, for the subscribe. But Merid, yes. I know that Merid literally just popped in here just to do the kwe from ECHO-S. God damn it, man. That shit's gonna haunt me. But yeah, so we're here talking about some of the news, and next on the list is this. Oh, Pyronit, thank you so much for giving me I'm not even mad about the 69 bits. I'm not. I snicker like a little boy. 69. But speaking of League, because we were talking about League, I'm actually super excited for this. So, League has finally fucking answered our prayers and is giving us an actual, series on Netflix. It was made by the studio. It's a French studio, but it's the same one that made, KDA and a lot of their stuff. So I'm super intensely happy about that. I'm super happy about that.
I will point out, though, look at all those monster and machine characters on that key art there.
Oh, yeah.
Look at all those. Look at all those creatures and grotesque creations, and it's all just fucking normal people.
Yeah. Merid was hoping. I was hoping for the. Oh, you wanted me to actually say it. Well, you can. I guess I can say it. But if it's a redeem. But he said I actually popped in as in as your voice acting is phenomenal. Oh, thank you so much. I wanted to see what the man behind the voice does. Oh, you mean when I'm not voicing? Yeah, I'm just dicking around, doing my own shit. Welcome to my little talk show where I talk about whatever I want. Yeah. I got into the lore because of this. Fuck yeah. Okay, so one thing that I think Luke and I really do agree on is that Riot or League of Legends, Runeterra is the name of the world, has an incredible lore. It's so rich, and it's sort of a cool world because they sort of were able to canonize. Remember the thing we were talking about earlier, where all of these things don't seem to match? And you have like these little yordles, and you have like these big robots, and you have like these world devouring dragons, and then you have cat girls, and you have a world where in Runeterra all of that is canon, but it's not like canon in a goofy, abridged way. Like it's actually fucking good. Like I love like League of Legends lore. I love it so much. So when this fucking came out, and prior to this, because we now know that the two girls in the original trailer, the red-haired one or the pink-haired one and the blue-haired one, we're just like, who are those people? Now obviously we know that that's Vi and Jinx, and this is sort of like the story, the what do you call that? The origin story of Jinx. Ooh, that is so fucking good. Also, before you say anything, League of Legends voice acting, I think, has been like pretty fucking pretty slick.
They've definitely over the years they've been updating old characters to like modernize the voice acting, and I think the first time I really noticed that was I heard Scott McNeil on who was it? It wasn't Muno. Who was it? Anyway, like I heard Scott McNeil on a new character, like as just a new voice for him. It's like, oh, that sounds really good. So yeah, the fact that now this may not be the case where all the voice actors from the game are brought into the show, because that's a very strong possibility. But like now that they're finally like we're getting the RPG, we're eventually going to be getting the MMO, presumably, and now we're getting an animated series, and even the card game was really good at this, where it was expanding on very interesting lore that the game itself just does not touch whatsoever, because it's just not a game based around that. And I have been waiting for years for League of Legends to finally branch out and do something else with all these interesting characters, with all their lore and the interesting world. And we were like, Crane and I was like, oh, we heard they're making an MMO. We were both really pumped. We're like I don't even play other MMOs. I play 14 and that's it. That's my one MMO. But I'm like, League of Legends MMO? The world is interesting enough for me to maybe pick up a second MMO. Maybe.
I mean, I get to be a Yordle. Fuck yeah. I don't even like characters that are that small, but League of Legends, okay, I don't like the Lalafell characters. I don't like them, because I'm a weeb, so I don't like them. I like the ones that look, like me. But, however, because of the League of Legends lore, I actually want to make a Yordle. Like, I want to make a Yordle because their lore is so fucking interesting. I love it so much. Vol said, I never got into League because of the toxic fandom. An ex of mine was into it. I believe you, but let me clarify your statement. Let me correct you. League of Legends doesn't have a toxic fandom. It has toxic players. Yes. Because there are people who like League of Legends lore who never touch the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do not like. I think Luke plays, but he doesn't like play.
Like I didn't touch it. Like we had a play session like a couple weeks back, and that was the first time I touched the game in actual years.
Well, because Earth is also fun as fuck. That's why.
Earth is very fun. Like, and it wasn't even main. It was like Earth is very fun, and what's the all random
ARAM. All random, all new.
ARAM. Yeah. And ARAM is exactly the same way I play Overwatch, where I just play hero roulette. And then your character changes on death. And that's the most fun I get out of games like that, where it's just like, Like usually for those games, if you want to get really, really good, you focus in on like really just one character or maybe like 2 or 3. But I've never enjoyed that kind of playing games like that, or even in like fighting games. I'm like, I want to explore the roster of characters, and then the game gives me a mode where it forces you to switch off, and I'm like, well, that's fun. Oh, I like that. I like that a whole lot. So it's. I'm just sad in games like Overwatch that you can't get achievements in that mode. Achievements or trophies, like they lock you off, and I'm like, that sucks. Why would you do that? That's very mean. This is my mode of choice.
Yeah, but
and I like to get my achievements.
But okay. Also, to clarify, although League is particularly toxic, like the game, like the players, MOBAs in general have very toxic players. I think they have a lot of sort of incentive structures for people to be dicks. So they do. That's why, like, I think I don't envy Riot or Blizzard when they created like Dota or League of Legends, because of the fact that it's so hard to adjudicate like bad, like people creating bad player experiences. It's very, very hard to adjudicate that. Not only is it hard to adjudicate it, it's also hard to punish them properly, because people will create alts or they'll do this or they'll smurf. There's a lot of different things that sort of go on when you're making something like this. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I do know that League, I've been playing League for 10 years now. And it hasn't gotten any less. Actually, for me, what I like to do, because a lot of people do this, right? What I like to do for any of you who want to play League and who want to do ranked, okay? Anybody who's going to ever watch this video, this is what you do. If you want to avoid a lot of the worst kind of salt and toxicity that you're going to experience, or that you can experience, not what you're going to, but what you can experience, play ranked early. So when the season starts, just do it. Because a lot of people, the thing is, a lot of people have time to get their ranks up, so they're not too mad about it. A lot of problems is that people will start playing ranked when rank is about to close. And when rank is about to close, everybody's time is important. And because people's times are important, it turns even sort of the most moderate player into like a spewing toxic shitbag. So, that's just my advice. Play the game early in the season. But of course, in order to do that, you'd actually have to know that there is such a thing as a season and when it starts. So it's a little too much work. If you don't like toxicity, just avoid the game. Yes.
Oh. But I just realized that it's Caitlyn in the key arts. I couldn't recognize her because she didn't have her stupid hat.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, so over there, so on the picture, that's obviously Vi, and then there's Jinx.
That's obviously Vi, and we got Jinx.
And there's Caitlyn on the lower left, and then on the lower left of that, I think that is supposed to be Victor.
I got that kind of vibe.
Yeah, and then on the right, that the guy with sort of the I don't know what that's called, 9 o'clock shadow or something like that.
5 o'clock shadow.
5 o'clock, yeah, whatever. That is Jace, and then the other two up there are important characters to the lore. They're not playable characters, but they are important characters to the lore. Yozora, I'm getting into the lore, and I haven't played the game yet. But okay, so Yozora, that is why I am happy that they are doing shit like this. I'm happy that they're doing shit like this is because the lore is too good for you to just contain in a game that is gated by toxic players, especially if you don't like playing that kind of game. I want there to be a place where we can learn the lore. And this is the perfect way to do it. The perfect way. Because I would usually say, we'll create a game so we can do it. But this is the perfect way because it's Riot. Riot, this is what Leak was talking about earlier. Riot is fucking phenomenal at this shit. They are better, like, people might hate me. They are better than Final Fantasy at this. When creating music videos, creating animations, creating all that stuff, they are better. They are better. They give me Western pride, honestly. Because for the most part, all of the great animations and stuff we see, they're all coming from Japan. And then Riot came and then bam, like, we're like kicking ass. Like, this is great. Like, it makes me, I'm proud that this is in our soil. Like, I'm proud of this kind of stuff. Their storytelling is amazing. Have you seen, so they released a music video. They got Imagine Dragons featuring JID to create the theme song for this series, for this season 1 of this series, called Enemy. Watch it. It's so good. It's some of the best music video. It's like one of the best music videos I've seen, period. Not just for an anime, not just for a Netflix show or something like that. And trust me, I'm not one of those people, like there's people who are just like, I love this. It's the best music video of anything, but they don't actually watch music videos. Like I was in music videos. I choreographed for music videos. Like I know my music videos. And this is like, bro.
Dude, I love when I really get into like a new theme for like a show I'm watching, which doesn't happen very often. But like the theme gets really stuck in my head. So I'm like, all right, I'll go see if I can find the music video of it. And it's usually like because I'll watch like Kamen Rider or like the new Gundam Breaker Battlelog anime that's being released. Mm-hmm. And like I really get into those themes, and I'll see like the music video more so the Gundam stuff, and not Kamen Rider, because it's usually the themes are very focused on the show itself, so the music videos are very focused on that. But I'll see the music videos for the by the artists, and they're very bare bones basic, of just like, oh hey, there's a guy there and he's kind of just like swinging his arms around, or it's just like cutting to some unrelated sort of thing going on. Like I think the one I was watching just had, just a random girl just walking around town for a very high energy, high impact anime theme. I'm just like, why are so many of them like this? Why are they all so, there's such a strong disconnect between like the energy of the song, the actual music video, and they're just bad. Even if the songs are really good, the videos are just bad.
Yep. But that's one of the things that I'm loving about like all of this. By the way, Vols has like also adds like a great point to it. In League of Legends, there's a lot of more reason for people to flame.
Yes.
It's because of the fact that it's a team game. So
yeah,
it's like
Overwatch has the same problem.
Imagine if you are doing everything right and you lose. Come on, don't tell me that doesn't like tip your meter just like a little bit.
Yeah, well, which is alleviated somewhat in the modes that we were talking about, where it's like randomized, where it's like, okay, I want just whatever character, and then people have like a mentality shift for those modes, where it's just like, all right, this is a mode for fun. To I'm not in control who I'm picking, so it's kind of a roll of the dice how the game goes, and people are a lot less pressured to perform well in those game modes, especially since they're also never in ranked.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it's also they don't have to rank for any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's like a big thing. I'm looking forward to this. As you can see here, it says November 6th. That's
tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, technically for some of us it's November 7th. So yeah, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, because before this, all I knew about this was like I saw something about Arcane. Not even that it was a League of Legends thing. I saw like a 5-second like YouTube trailer commercial ad. There we go. That was the word I was looking for. And it was like there was a flash of something. I wasn't paying attention because I wasn't looking at the ad. And I was like, what was that? Arcane? No, whatever. Probably some mobile game. And then I find out today, it's like, oh, League of Legends animated series. About damn time.
About damn time. Like looking at all of their other productions, like my God, like it's so good. Their
production quality is very high. So we'll see if they can maintain that for a whole series. Because obviously a whole series is different from like a character vignette or a music video where it's a few minutes, and this is like, presumably going to be like 22 to 24 minutes long or whatever per episode. But it is non-Netflix, so it could be a bit longer. It could be like 28 minutes or whatever.
I'm gonna sound like a dick writer, but it's probably gonna be amazing.
I mean, like that. That's like on the far end of being like skeptic. It's like, it's the animation company that they've been very good at what they've done so far, but it has been shorter content. So, like, I'm interested. I want it to do well. Like so. And like if it goes well, then maybe each season can be like, it can kind of be like commercialized, where it's like each season's kind of like focusing on a different region. Like obviously this is Jinx and Caitlyn and Vi and all of that going on.
Yeah, so it's the world. It's Piltover and Zaun, which is already very interesting because they have like this weird power dynamic, and Piltover's in the top, and then it's kind of feels like Midgar in a sense.
Yeah,
where, you have above the plate and below the plate, and
I mean, if in the first season we see my boy Blitzcrank, I'm sold. If we get Blitzcrank.
Blitzcrank is from Piltover. So
yeah,
you might. Ya boy might be there.
Might get my boy in there.
Yes,
he's the only one I care about.
Yep. And
and Nautilus. If we get what's the pirate town? Oh, if we get like Bilgewater. Oh my goodness! If we get a whole arc about Bilgewater, oh my goodness. Yes.
Well, that's the reason why I don't think they're going to do bad, because like story wise, they have so much real estate. They have so much real estate. So much. Like, I mean, right now we're built over in Zon. I'm just like, man, that's going to be so fucking interesting. And then I think to myself, I'm like, yeah, but what about Bandle City? Like with the Yordles, like the Yordles are the thing that's funny about the Yordles. People don't know this about the Yordles, but the Yordles, they look that way. That's not what they actually look like. It's glamour. They don't actually look like that. It's glamour. So when people see them, that's what they see, but that's not what they are. It's crazy, huh? To think about it that way. It's pretty crazy, right? And they have magics that are just theirs. Like we have Ionia with the whole like Yasuo story, bro. That's gonna be so fucking tight. That's gonna be so tight.
Yasuo's story is so good.
And
I enjoyed that Yasuo's story was like expanded upon in the card game. Like we got so much lore from the card game on Yasuo, which was fascinating.
Oh, not just that. Look, there's so many like I said, there's too much real estate. There's the history of Shurima. There's what is it? Demacia and versus Noxus. You have Targon.
Oh, I want a small little bottle episode. A small little bottle episode of just a Mumu. Very little dialogue, just a Mumu in his daily life in like his pyramid or whatever. Just like sad little Mumu. And that's it. That's the whole episode. It's him just kind of like Wall-E, but condensed down to like 24 minutes.
It's just him.
And maybe at the very end he finds a friend.
Aww.
Because he just we can't let him keep crying.
Well, that's what. Can you play the card game on your phone? I think you can. I believe you can.
I believe so.
Yeah. I think Legends of Runeterra is on your phone.
It's definitely tablet friendly.
Yeah,
it's definitely tablet friendly. So I presume it'd be phone friendly. I mean, I played it on PC, but it's definitely
it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing that freaking Legend of Runeterra, like the card game, like freaking blasted Hearthstone on its first week.
It annihilated it.
It's completely destroyed it.
Because that's the most I've interacted with like the WoW universe. Was I played Hearthstone for a while and I enjoyed it. And that led to me like eventually trying WoW for like an hour or two. Was because I was like, oh, okay, I love the art, I love like the sound design, the art direction, just all of that. I'm like, I know some of these voice actors. I know Laura Bailey, I know Travis, I know Liam. Like hearing them, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of getting interested in these characters. Let's take a look at the game that they're mostly from. Not obviously they come from Warcraft and not World of Warcraft for a good chunk of them, but I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And it wasn't very interesting. It was like, I think I started as, which was very strange for me. I started as an elf. Usually I never play like elven characters because I'm like, I find them boring, but I'm like, maybe this is why I was like, I'll try elf assassin. I'll be that guy, that chump. And I'm like, or something like that. I forgot what the class was, but it was like, I'm just going around picking up like like spider carcasses or whatever, venom sacks. I'm like, oh no.
No, it's a
like
little
early
antiquated.
World of Warcraft is it's rough.
Yeah, no, that was one of the problems I had with people who were like, oh my god, A Realm Reborn is like antiquated. I'm just like, have you played the first how many hours of WoW? Like it makes Final Fantasy. It makes Final Fantasy look real advanced. So, I mean, you already know that we part of the FF squad here, but that's kind of just how we roll with that. Runeterra even made them make subclasses for D&D, Bilgewater D&D. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, the Runeterra has so much like real estate for story. And they build them so well.
Oh, you know what?
So
we'll probably not get Bilgewater for a while because that's a big focus of the Airship Syndicate game. because Bilgewater is a big focus of that. So we probably won't get Bilgewater in the show very early, but we're going to get that in the video game, which I'm still very happy about.
Oh, last thing I will say about League of Legends. One thing that's also nice about them is that they are actually they push the story forward and then update the characters, which is insane for a MOBA. Like, that's almost like think of that for like fighting games. I don't know. Like, isn't that insane? Isn't that insane that they're just like, oh yeah, well, you know, Lucian actually, like, now when they put Senna into the game, because his whole story was that he lost his wife to Thresh, and he's like, oh yeah, so all his voice lines are about, oh, I lost Senna, blah 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 blah, and then they actually put Senna into the game and they erased all of those old lines and then replaced them with new ones that have Senna in them. And then they did this whole wonky thing where they made Thresh human, but they explained that through the story, because the story continued with the Ruined King, right? Which is what we're also going to get in the RPG game, in the turn-based. So, I mean, there's a lot. Honestly, I think Riot is making really, really, really big moves. Like, really fucking big moves. Like, they're a force to be reckoned with.
And you were talking about this. I forget if it was earlier in the show or before we started, but like Riot is definitely sort of trying to supplant Blizzard as like this sort of like Western-based multimedia video game centered like entertainment empire.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say empire.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because what else was like I going to end with? And it's, you know, it seems to be doing a much better job than Blizzard ever has with it. Because what else has Blizzard done aside from the Warcraft, like specifically World of Warcraft? We have like the 3 Warcraft games. We have World of Warcraft, and we have that one movie that came out. We know that they have a lot of books that fill in all the empty spots in their video game.
Oh, time to hydrate,
but
bro.
Like, time to hydrate. I will hydrate. I am on camera. You can hide it. I can't. But there we go.
But I won't. That's funny. That's actually our first hydrate of the day. I think it was our first hydrate of the day.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting. People forgot how to use the redeem buttons.
Yeah, it's been a while.
They didn't forget to turn. They didn't forget to turn Sue into a blitzball, by the way. But
no, they've been very happy with blitzball Sue.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how things develop, especially with the decline of Blizzard, and both Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 got pushed back. Like, I think the closest release is like Diablo Immortals, which is surrounding controversy because it's like, don't you have any phones? It's never gonna like outlive that. It's been ingrained into the gamer sphere. Even people that don't play Diablo are just like, Blizzard's done fucked up with that.
We're saving our points to make you overhydrate. I wouldn't put it past them. Nope. All right, so we'll move on to like our last topic. Oh, sorry, you still had a point.
I just that, you know, I like what Riot's doing. They're both cleaning up internally and pumping out interesting content. So like the exact opposite of what Blizzard's doing, where it's like, man, we still don't really know if Blizzard's like fully cleaning up internally, because another big wig just left. One of the people that was put in charge of Blizzard, they're leaving in like a month. So it's just like, you lost another leader within like, she was like in that position for like 2.5-3 months, like, and she's leaving now. That's not good.
Oh well, I mean,
and who knows?
It's like I said, it's they're not doing a good job of mitigating the evil of what it is, because that's honestly what I think. Like, if you can say that I'm pretty cynical about it, but it is not my, you know, I spent like how many 6 years in psychology, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But my point is that people are always surprised when people do evil shit, and I'm just like, I'm not surprised when they do that. Like, to a lot of people, they're just like, why can't they just not be bad? It's like, it's not about being good or being bad. It's about mitigating how bad they are. That's all. Honestly, that's all we're trying to do, right? It's very few times in our lives where we actually like do quote unquote like a good thing. It's very like, you're hard pressed to find that. You're hard pressed to find somebody who does like a good thing constantly.
Like, altruism is actually very effort intensive.
Oh yeah, every good thing.
It's like Like it is more often than not the more difficult thing to do, and it does require a lot of efforts. And people are less inclined to go in that direction.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to say it is what it is,
but it is what it
pessimistic, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, last thing on our chopping block is this. We have to talk about this because Tsunamods.com. Tsunamods.com. Yes, all of the people who are Suna people. Yes, you heard me right. So you can come out of lurking now. You can come out of lurking. We're going to talk about ECHO-S.
There he is.
There it is. See? Was I right or was I right?
He fell asleep during the esports segment, so he heard the website and he woke up.
He's just like, no, Suna has like this weird algorithm in his head where he's like, anytime anybody mentions Tsunamods or ECHO-S anywhere on the interwebs, he's just like, pops out. He's like, we have a demo coming out.
It's like pheromones.
It's essentially like
he can the electromagnetic pheromones through the computer.
Yep. Okay, so we're actually going to talk about ECHO-S. So if you guys, one of the biggest news that has dropped since my absence was, in fact, the dropping of the Sector 7. I'm just kidding. The dropping of Tsunamods.com and ECHO-S 7 demo. It is now playable. You guys can play it. I've been watching people play it. I know some of you have been playing it. All of that stuff. That seems far-fetched to me. I wonder. But no, but like my man Strife here, a lot of people have been working really, really hard on this, and I really wanted to give people like a lowdown on this. So if you guys really want to hear my thoughts on the ECHO-S demo, because I haven't played it myself, but it's only because when we dropped it, I really avoided playing it because, to me, that's, you guys get to enjoy it. That's work for me, and I didn't want to work at that time. So, I've been watching a lot of people stream this. How many of you guys have streamed this? I know Shadowleaf has, or played it. I know like a bunch of you have. I know obviously the crew have obviously touched this.
B has streamed it.
B has streamed it, and it was hilarious because I didn't know B plays RPGs at all. But she's like, I'm in this. Starts to play it. She did the thing. She did many of the things. But so some of my thoughts on the ECHO-S demo, it seems for the most part that people are really enjoying it. I was a bit afraid that people were not going to.
It's time.
So
I'm getting a new outfit.
Evelyn
there it is.
KDA all out. Oh, okay, KD. Okay, I think I can do that. I think
okay.
The tendrils might be. I don't think I could do the tendrils, but I think I can definitely do the outfit. I think I can do the outfit. I will try my best, Yuzora. In case I don't do that one, think of a second one and DM me that one. Cool. I streamed the pre-release demo. Does that count? Yes. The quote unquote the early access beta test.
Yeah, you got the early access demo.
But yeah, and what's going? I actually thought so, and now I guess we can get a little serious, right? Like, because the whole other time we weren't. But I actually thought that people were not going to really enjoy ECHO-S. I thought, for the most part, that people who would play ECHO-S are the people who were already looking forward to ECHO-S. So it was nice to see people play it for the first time. I watched a very obscure YouTuber who has literally like 8 views on his videos, but he played it and he has like 0 connection to any of us, or at least I think. But and he was actually giving out like a lot of his opinion about it. He said the voices that he hated and the voices that he liked, and all of those kinds of things. And that's sort of what I'm afraid of. It's kind of like what Yoshi P said, that silence is usually, you have to interpret silence as people hating it. Right? Like that's kind of,
or worse, indifference.
Yeah. Well, I think the indifference is the action. The emotion is the fact that they don't like it, right? They think they look at it negatively.
Okay.
because if you like, Yoshi P said this because, you know, in terms of that's his modality, that is his perspective when he's going into creating Final Fantasy 14, is that his opinion is whenever the things that he doesn't hear, he assumes that they're all people who just like they don't speak about it because they hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Which the thing is, it's not accurate. It's not, well, obviously it's hard to find things that are super accurate about that, but that is a good way to think of things if you are the person creating the thing. And as one of the people who are creating the thing, it was very, I guess it felt very nice to actually see people who are not connected to us whatsoever. Because, you know, I watch people like Sector 6, I watch people like Schrodinger and, you know, like play it. But then they sort of have skin in the game. They're not part of the process, but they know the people who are in the process. They are familiar with you, Suna. They're familiar with me. It's mostly you guys. But because of that, you know, there's
a filter.
They're unlikely to say what they really think about it, you know, especially if they're streaming it. So I don't know how many people, obviously Suna would be the only person who knows this, but I don't know how many people have actually downloaded the demo and have actually played it. But it would be nice to know what their opinions are about it. And for the most part, from what I've seen, just from the people who are publicizing it, it does seem that it's been pretty positive. I think one thing that I have underestimated is that it does change the whole experience of Final Fantasy VII, the OG game. I think that is one thing that I absolutely did not take into account. Because I just thought people would hate it, honestly, because they're just going to hear the voices, and sometimes, you know, that the problem with Final Fantasy VII is that there are already canonical voice actors. So that's going to be jarring for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the comments I got, like, even on Suna's YouTube videos, like, a lot of people, like, for example, Cloud, because I know that Cloud was always going to be a problem because I don't sound anything like Steve Britton or Cody Christian, by design, by the way. But, and I knew people were going to have that problem. They're going to be like, oh, it's jarring because I don't remember, like, I remember the originals and I can't get used to that voice, but, you know, but it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. Obviously it has a few bugs, but a lot of the times where people, the driver dies, that's a Seventh Heaven thing, right? Or either that or the FF7R thing. It's not an ECHO-S thing. So, I think one of the things that really tickled people's fancy was when we dubbed the FMVs. I think people really fucking enjoyed that. And I really fucking enjoyed it. It's not just the Barrett going, it's not that. It's also...
But that's a big selling point.
That is, but I think all of the FMVs that we did, I think people were really, really enjoying it. Aren't actually ECHO-S's fault, yeah. Oh, bye, Pirate. Ah, man, I missed you, Pirate. But yeah, so... Yeah, it's hard for me to look at the game now and think, oh, you know, like, I want to play this silent, and I can't do it anymore because it's completely overtaken my my brain. So I can't really do that. I obviously hate my voice. But yeah, like, Luke, do you plan on ever streaming ECHO-S?
You know, now that you mention it, I was in fact thinking about playing it tomorrow. As a matter of fact, because it is one of my stream days tomorrow, and I think I'm a bit overdue on the ECHO-S demo. I think it'd be a good. I think it's about time I finally dived in and see how much I hate my wedge.
By the way, nobody hates your wedge. There are a lot of people who are there are a lot of people. Yeah. There are a lot of people who are like mixed on some of my performances. I found one person who loves Cloud, who loves my Cloud voice. The rest of the people are just like meh, like they don't care. I got a lot of people who really like Barrett. That's mostly a lot of people are just like, oh man, this Barrett voice, and then there's me on the side going fuck. Now
you're just gonna be known as being the Barrett guy.
I know people are just
especially when the Barrett mod comes out.
Oh no, yeah.
And you're like,
you're
done.
I'm looking for.
You're done.
I'm looking for. Oh, soon. You better shut the fuck up. Merritt J literally just came in. He literally just came in, said "kwe, kwe," and then left. That's literally what he. That is your fault, bro. That is all your fault, Suna. I didn't even sign a waiver that allowed you to do that. I'm just kidding. I should be getting royalties. You know, because I'm bringing value. I bring value to your stream. You know, they come for the quest. Yeah, that is the summation of my voice acting legacy. Is either me doing Barrett or Cloud going Kwe. You know, so yeah, it's funny too. Like, I'm still of the opinion. I'll say this like publicly. I'm still of the opinion that the Suna code should be in order, just so that people, you know, like have an idea of like which one they're missing.
I did see that. I was confused by that because I wasn't sure how many there were.
Yeah.
And then like Sunacode, isn't Sunacode 1 at the very end?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I do know from lurking in Suna's stream that there are 4 codes.
Yes.
And I know where 2 of them are. I don't know where the other 2 are, and I'm terrified of missing them.
Well, I think which is fine because it depends on like what Suna's goal is. If Suna's goal is for them to be found, then you should probably put them in order. If his goal is for them to not be found, then I think whatever it is now is fine. I was going to do that, but with the HDD dying, we only met the deadline by 20 minutes.
No. We held off to announce the demo on Final Fan TV. We held off. Remember?
Oh, yeah, we did.
We had a contract deal with them.
Yeah, it's apparently we did have a contract with them. But that's fine. It's not too big of a problem. Some people had like a really hard time because I saw one of the guys play it and he got all of them but one, and then he had to like load up save game and do all of that all over again. I mean, and when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, I guess that kind of does it too. You know, but at the same time, maybe it's just me because I am like the voice director. So in my mind, I'm like, please, I really want them to get the Suna code so I can I want to see them play the rest of the demo. Wink, wink. But yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, that's a vibe. If they watch the release trailer, they would get the one that's missable. Okay, I think that the other one. Okay, well, once they get to Shinra Tower, all of them are missable. so missable asterisk. The others can be got at any time, really, except for Shinra Tower. Unless they can go back down.
No, I think I remember being in Suna's stream when he was talking about it. It's not there when you go back down, because it's not there because it's classified as a different map.
No, I think
that's where the
if you get far enough into the demo, like for example, you know, like you save right before fighting Rufus, then I don't think you can get back. The dilemma with the clue for the trained one is several people at this point have come to ECHO-S from other people playing Echo, which is fine. Like again, remember, it's all about intentions. If the intention is to get people to play the game more, then that's what it is. The problem is like the only thing that I see as a problem is that most people will play ECHO-S, they'll reach the end, they don't know what the codes are, so they're just like, oh, I didn't get the codes. Oh well, and they'll just never touch it again. Like that's what I think is like going to happen. You know, which I don't think is too much of a problem, but yeah, I don't know how it's going to be patched from this point onwards, but I know that we definitely want to do them sort of by disc. Which is completely doable, by the way. We have like a new system in place, all of that stuff. Regardless, even if honestly, looking at a lot of the work, even if this were down to me and Suna again, I feel like we would do this a lot faster. Because Midgar is like a hell of a bitch. And since we passed that, like it really does feel fast. Like I was recording the last few maps. Like I've been recording Junin and what was it? Costa del Sol, all of that stuff. It's not a lot. It's not a lot.
No, like we identified the problem ones, which we're Junon and Gold Saucer, and those were like the last two like heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Everything else can very easily be isolated, where it's just like, and like Corel Prison, if you count it as like part of either, if it's its own thing or if it's part of Gold Saucer, like either or, like it's like everything else is like, you know, there's maybe like a total of like 8 characters in this map or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's much more doable to segment those smaller different chunks instead of having to do like all of Midgar, because you kind of have to do all of Midgar, but everything else can be done in like, all right, well, I'm going to go do Calm, I'm going to go do Gongaga, I'm going to go do Rocket Town. Like they're much more isolated chunks that can be focused on and be completed in relatively quick manner, especially since we have this new team formation that we have.
Well, I also want to say that the lines, okay, so I'll give you an example. Mediel has like a lot of lines, but Mediel is considered easier than, let's say, Costa del Sol, because Mediel's quote unquote line count is mostly Cloud and Tifa.
Yeah,
and those lines are done. Like, you know, like I'm going to edit them, but I will be recording them while I edit. So you're always going to have my lines no matter what. And Tifa's already done. Alchemic did like a phenomenal job. She was here in chat earlier, the voice for Tifa. The phenomenal job, did all of that stuff really, really well. Majority of the voice actors are done with their lines. It's the NPCs that are the problem. That is that is the issue that you have. This is the reason why Gold Saucer is such a bitch. In the grand scheme of things, Gold Saucer doesn't have like there are places that have lines that are a lot, you know. But if those lines are taken up by main cast, not a problem, because they're already done. Majority, at least. There are a couple of people who haven't finished or who haven't begun recording. It's a couple of them. I think from my side, I think it's Ifalna, Gast. Zach hasn't done his lines for, you know, the flashback. Who else? Bugenhagen, I think, is the biggest one who hasn't done lines, but that's Seraphis. Like, so, you know.
Oh yeah, that's
Seraphis
like,
will do it. Like, he'll do it.
Yeah.
No, I just don't like. I don't like.
He's a trustworthy guy.
I just don't like bugging him because he's actually doing anime. Like he's actually like an anime voice actor.
Like he's an actual busy guy, but he's definitely like very trustworthy. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just going to be about that. Yeah. So it's there's not too much left, honestly. What was it? I had David on many times where I'm directing him as Sephiroth, and he was actually quite surprised. He's just like, oh, in the Northern Crater, in the end, are these literally my only lines? And I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
those
he's got like what, 6?
Yeah, like maybe less than that probably. I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's really like, yeah, for him it would be mostly the Calm flashback, I imagine, is where his biggest chunk is.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Vincent, I think, has more lines. Just because he's a character, so he has to say things every time some event happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I definitely want to get in touch with Yuffie so that we can sort of redo some of the lines. I think I had some of the problems with some of the performance and some of the quality issue. I think, and what was weird with the whole Yuffie scene is that you can start to hear a lot of the difference in the main cast's mics. You can really hear it. So I'm like, yeah, I might really have to fix that. I know there are some scenes that I'm going to have people like come on my stream so that we can do them live, if they're down for some live recording. I know I do want to do some of the Mediel stuff with Alchemic, so we'll definitely have to do that. But yeah, other than that, I think that's good. In the event that Yuffie is having a really, really hard time, we do have an understudy for Yuffie who record almost everything. Poor girl. She literally recorded, because when she got understudy, she's like, where can I get my lines? Where can I do them? And she just like did them. And I'm like, oh man, that makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad when that shit happens. But yeah, so if that's ever the case, I mean, it's part and parcel of the work. And I'm saying that as you're coming to me, you're going to my stream. This is the voice director of ECHO-S, and yeah, that's just part and parcel of what it is. It's one of the reasons why, like, I had to replace, I had to step in to do Heidegger's lines, because our Heidegger's quality wasn't up to snuff. We are trying to remedy that, so he's going to try to fix his setup so that we can have him record again. Good thing Heidegger's lines, there aren't too many Heidegger lines. It's a good thing. I actually recorded all of Heidegger's lines for the whole game in one sitting.
What would that be about? That's probably what? I would imagine less than 30.
No, it's around 30, but they're not.
It's around 30? Okay.
But it's not a lot. There's a, like, it's funny because he has lines where he goes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then his next line is, and like, that's it.
Yeah, a lot of
yeah, a lot of
yeah, a lot of that.
And yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's pretty much, I think Hojo doesn't have, quote unquote, line count wise, doesn't have that many, but his lines are long. He doesn't have the Heidegger problem, which is like, you know, yeah, ha 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 ha. He doesn't have that problem. He has a whole paragraph that he says per line. So Suna's gonna love that because it's a lot of 1A, 1B, 1C. Actually, not too much of a problem, actually. I think Suna hates the choices. I think. So the Vincent room, he's not gonna be happy with that one. Yuffie's is sort of a nightmare. He already did him, but Yuffie's was kind of a nightmare. I can imagine. It's okay, Suna. Blink twice if you're losing your mind over coding that.
Just quit twice in chat.
Just, yep, just quit twice. That's pretty much it. That's I feel like it does seem to me that people really do enjoy a lot of our rewrites, by the way. I think that's one of the things that people are enjoying. They like it when we rewrite the script a little bit, and we don't just go straight for what the reunion script does. So that's definitely a thing. That is definitely a thing. I know
people will enjoy the Sky Are Sick. That's a big one because it's such a classic flub that, you know, we couldn't let that one go, and it's something that Crane has rewritten before for Final Fantasy VII Retold on Still Thinking Films, where it's like it's such an iconic scene to have this guy are sick. Like, it is such a famous flub. Like Spoony Bard, that's another one where it was just like, it wasn't like a spelling error, but it became so iconic from the game that it's like, do you get rid of it? Do you fix it? Then you're just going to feel deflated afterwards. So you rewrite the scene to where it's like, okay, the characters are being a little cheeky and they start making fun of it. But because of that, you get to keep it. So,
and that's the most important thing is that we for the most part, we did keep all of these iconic lines. We didn't do the one with I don't know if I'm even allowed to say it. I don't have really any reservations about the word, but like the R word in the staircase.
Oh,
the stairwell.
Yeah,
we didn't use that one. I don't know why we did. I think it's because the reunion just didn't have it. Okay, speaking of that word, I watched a lot of people who were actually disappointed that we didn't use it, and I don't know how to balance that. Do we knowing Suna's just gonna try his best to piss off the least amount of people. So
I'm in the boat of I'm for taking it out. That's where my vote lies.
I don't really care. I don't really care. Which way or whatever, you know. And like, that was my job for a long time. Like, I was a practicing psychologist in the Philippines, and I had to deal with people of who, for the most part, aren't even really offended by the word, but But well, that's in the Philippines, so I don't know how it is here. It's funny because America seems to be really really sensitive when it comes to words, even though they invented like freedom of speech.
Yeah,
but
I do have like a personal story connected to it. If we want to segue into that, like I can explain like where it's like, because obviously growing up, it became it was in the lexicon of the children of the day. It was middle school. It was used very heavily as like, oh, that's just dumb, that's just stupid, or whatever. And I remember back in middle school, I think it was a science teacher I had, and he kind of like he snapped a little bit, like he heard it one too many times, and he snapped at a classmate in there, and he went, I don't want to say tirade because that feels like a bit too much, but he did go on sort of a speech that his child was affected by it, and that it's he kind of hit his limit with the word, and that made me like, it wasn't something I used purposely. Like I used it a little bit because it was around me so much I didn't think about it, but that incident made me think about it. I'm like, you know what, if it's affecting someone like that, and it's like, I'm gonna try and take it out. And it wasn't even, like I said, it wasn't even something I used very often, because it wasn't like a knee-jerk word that I used. But I was like, and it wasn't like an intimidation thing or like like I feel sorry for him thing. It was that event that made me think about it more, where it was just like, yeah, no, I don't need that word. I can throw it away. So, but that's my personal experience.
Well, caution, I think, would sort of be like the best case in this scenario anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, and when it comes to, like, honestly, because I don't really have that, like, too many qualms about, like, the usage of whatever sort of term. But if it can be avoided, we should just avoid them. And it's not like the what do you call it? The scene or the term or whatever was like vital, if that makes sense.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it was like vital for a scene or whatever, like, I don't know, let's say let's say the word living legacy, for example. Let's say the word living legacy all of a sudden became taboo. And they're just like, oh, we're going to rewrite that. I'd be like, I don't know if I want to rewrite that. If that, I don't know if that makes it doesn't make really, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Like, because, I understand where you're coming from,
but the use of that word is completely like derogatory anyways in that term. And it's so fleeting. It's a little fleeting moment. So in other words,
well, think about it, like we got rid of that one, but then we get like Let's Dance Asshole instead.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got some funner ones where it's like, all right, the characters can swear a little bit. We'll drop that one. We'll drop the R word, but we can give them like a shit or an asshole. And it's like,
well, I wanted to give them.
fun.
I actually wanted to give them like more fucks, but the script didn't have them. So
no,
I was like,
no fucks to give.
Yeah, So if it doesn't change the context of the scene, then I really don't have a problem with it. I think if it were more contextually important, it would be a different story. Yeah, let Aerith say fuck.
Let Aerith say fuck. Yeah.
But
we got a shit.
We got and we
Remake
did
part 2. We need a hard fuck.
Yes.
I was going to say we need a hard fuck from Aerith in part 2, but
I mean, I agree on whatever context that is.
It's fair. Exactly.
Yes. Even if that means she gets fucked by a long sword. But
I mean, whatever your fetish, man. Whatever your fetish.
Clipping that. Oh, I bet you are. But for the most part, so that's sort of where I stand. If the word is supposed to, if it's meaningful in a way, even if it's derogatory, if it's meaningful to the story, I would rather keep it. That's me. Like, okay, it's like it's gonna trigger people. Okay, yeah, sure, it will. But is it integral? Then it is. If that makes sense, right? So if there was a moment where, if there was like, okay, so for example, if let's say there's a scene, I know this is getting really spicy, but it's all right. If anyone's gonna get canceled, it's me. People took a picture of this face anyways. So if you say, so for example, they use the R word, but let's say they're using that word, like, or let's say an important character, let's say Cloud, or Sephiroth, or somebody is using that word against Cloud when he's in his quote unquote, like he's like, ugh. Like I would be more for like keeping that if that's really what the context is, if that makes sense, because they're using it in context. It's like, oh, what do we replace the word with? You know, like, well, it's stuff like that. I think that to me is more of a debate on like what it is. Like it's derogatory, but if it's derogatory for derogatory sense, for just to be derogatory, then I don't think, like, then that's an easy edit. But if it's something that has context, then that's a little bit difficult. You know, it's almost like it's almost like if you have a racist character call an Asian guy a chink, and you're just like, we need to delete that word. It's like, no, the point is he's trying to be offensive.
And the point is that he's really racist. Yeah, like
the point is it's not the same if you remove it out, like, you know, because it's going to offend people, because the point is that it had to be offensive, you know, because you can say a lot about that stuff. You know, China's been doing sort of like the opposite of that, where, for example, there are scenes where it's like where two gay characters kiss and they completely delete that out, right? Like that's meaningful. Right? Like the point is they're going to, you know, and it's like if you write that out, then all the context is gone. So, you know, I'm just sort of like reverse engineering that whole idea. I wrote a few fuck lines for Elena, by the way. Luke was Yeah,
we were brainstorming some spoof lines for Elena's dialogue. We went through every single piece of dialogue for her, so she's got some funny potential phrases that we might be able to hear at some point.
Oh, that's right, because we are doing the sort of 1 in 200 chance. We're doing the 1 in 200 chance that that a line will come out. I have yet to see anybody get that. Yeah. Like I'm
hoping like we can write it into the game where it's like, maybe after you beat it, maybe you unlock it to where it's like you can flip a little switch and be like, all right, well now every single like potential where that line happens, you can turn it on. I think that'd be fair after you beat the game. But he cheated. Exactly. If Suna can cheat, the rest of the player base can cheat. Only after they beat the game, though. They have to get the real lines first or get really, really lucky. They either need to be lucky or put in the effort.
Well, I don't think...
then they can get all the silly lines.
I think the issue is not about whether they have the... because they technically... Anybody can cheat that thing. It's just that, can they? Like, do they have the ability? Do they have the skills to? Is more of the question. Because I saw it. I know how to cheat it. Like, if you ask me to recreate it, I'm like... So, nope. You can really miss me with that one. But yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts on the... Any other thoughts on the demo? I mean... Yeah, do you have any thoughts on it? Have you seen it?
I've seen bits and pieces. I don't think I've ever seen all of it. So it'll be interesting because I think definitely after this I will we'll be streaming that tomorrow. I think that's something I can beat in the singles sitting, especially with my stream. So
you're doing it tomorrow.
Yeah. Because we brought it up earlier, and I've been debating it, but I think we can take a small break from Super Robot Wars 30, even though that means it'll be a really long break for me because my next stream day's not until Tuesday, which like that's the only thing really stopping me is like I still want to play Super Robot Wars, but I think now is a good opportunity to finally dig into the demo and get the whole experience, because I've only seen bits and pieces, and of course there's all my own chunks that I recorded, but to get the entire breadth of the performances and how is it just ECHO-S in the demo, or are there other mods available? Because I haven't even looked at on the installation process.
Well, you can pretty much mix and match whichever. Obviously, there are ones that play better with ECHO-S. So
right.
So yeah. Cosmo Memory. That's one that you definitely have to have alongside with ECHO-S. The rest of the mods, you don't need them. So if you want to play them vanilla, you can do that. I do recommend playing them vanilla just because of the fact that when you have character models modded, then the FMVs behave very, very strangely. And you don't get like the full version of those. So that's like something you need to really play out. So because I've seen one too many times that they do the bridge scene, like the where the bridge snaps in Mount Nebel. And when it does, like the models disappear. And I'm like, ooh,
they fell, obviously.
Yeah, but the problem is the voices are still going.
They've learned. They are just staying very still. They've learned from Drax that even though the bridge has fallen, they have learned how to become very still and become invisible.
Invisible, yes. While taking this chip and eating it. But yeah, so that's definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing that we have to look out for. Outside of that, yeah, there's something we don't understand about the camp data. And God, where's my spelling? Flout.
Yeah, I saw you struggle there. No, they're just very excited about Final Fantasy VIII. Flout.
Oh, I used the word flout in when I was directing dance teams, because flout to me was short for full out. But then I would pretend to be like a German dictator. I'd be like, for this run, everyone must do the flout, and they're all just like, yes, sir. Results, oh yeah, I don't know why, but they loved it. Yeah, Petrified.
Yes, sir,
Petrified did say that it breaks for like everyone. Okay, yeah, so that's definitely a problem, and that's a shame too, because the Nino style models are definitely my favorite. This is not even to down like the Cetra one. It's just that, well, my one problem I have with the Cetra model is that not everybody is Cetra-tized, so it's really it's sort of jarring seeing like Cloud and everyone looks so HD, and then you see like the NPC models and you're like, ooh, what happened there? So that's definitely a thing. The Nino models are nice because they have, I think, was it the Nino models? The Nino style models were the ones that have the actual Nomura drawings on their faces, right?
Oh,
I think those are the ones. Did I get that right? I hope my chat can illuminate. Yes. Cool. They confirmed that I am not, in fact, crazy. Actually, they didn't confirm that, but they did confirm that I did remember that correctly. Yeah, so it's that. So that's a shame. That's when I saw it, I was like, man, I don't get to play it that way. I think I might stream it too. I'm afraid of streaming it because if I stream it, I feel like I'm just going to be way too critical of everything. I'm going to be way too critical of it. I don't know, that might be fun. Maybe people will actually have fun watching that. All, I don't know, maybe 20 people will have fun watching me just fucking go ham on the game, but who knows? They intentionally mimic the Nomura artwork. Yes, okay, good. So that's precisely what I'm looking for, because I really, 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 really like that model. Like, I really do. But it's too bad that they float into the sky for the FMVs, and I really like the FMVs, so probably not. So I'm probably going to keep it outside of sound and maybe the textured backgrounds. That I'm just not going to. Just get the whole chat ego boosting you. Well, it doesn't matter, like, if they agree with me or not. Like, my opinion is still my opinion, right? And I'm always going to hear it that way. If anything, it might be bad news because people are more likely, like, I feel like I am more likely to change people's minds about the way these characters sound as opposed to them changing mine. So, because I've already dealt with them. The models don't affect the FMVs. That's just how the FMVs are right now. Okay.
It's not a glitch. It's a feature.
Oh, okay. So it happens no matter what. So even if I played it vanilla, would it still be the same? Because that would suck. I think if it's vanilla, it won't, right? Like, it won't. They won't fly into the sky and stuff because that would be very sad. If they floated into the sky, I'd be like, fuck, like I thought I was playing FF7, not Advent Children. I know people had a lot of gripes about that, where all of a sudden they were like Dragon Ball Zing it all over the place. I mean, that is a thing. Floating into the sky is Nino style models. Okay, for a lot of the other ones, they just disappear, right? That's how I understand it, at least. The lighting is
they're all from Wutai. They ninja band.
they're ninjaing, yeah. So Luke, what I do recommend for you is I recommend, obviously you're getting ECHO-S, you're going to get Cosmo Memory. Just make sure that you put them in the proper order. The chat will tell you what the proper order is, not me, because I don't remember.
Well, if I recall, I believe that there is a how-to video on the Tsunamods website, correct?
Yes, there is. There is, in fact, a how-to on Tsunamods.com. It's not porn, trust. I mean...
Statement debatable.
Well, yeah, I was about to say it's sort of porn to me. Playing Final Fantasy VII like that's equivalent to porn for me. I can get off to that. I mean, have you heard how Scarlet sounds? Woo! But outside of that, I do recommend, if you're going to go with any of the I kind of don't want you to play it with enhanced models. Maybe Satsuki's enhanced background models. And there was one other, the lighting. Definitely want you to play with that.
The light I've seen, like, that's probably the one of the mods I'm most impressed with is the dynamic lighting. I think that adds, actually, no matter which models you're using, it adds a lot. Especially the old models, like the original models, it adds a whole lot to the game.
Literally adds texture.
Yeah, I've been that's probably the one of the things I'm most impressed with, is just how much the game improves with that lighting mod in there.
Yep, that is definitely it. Anyways, we are getting Cosmo lighting plus Nino styles looks so good. Better believe it. We're nearing the end. I sort of promised myself that I would only stream for 3 hours. Not anymore. Maybe less, but not any more than that. I need to keep these. You know, one problem that I had with importing a lot of the podcasts onto YouTube is that when they reach a certain number, when it reaches a certain length or duration, they become uneditable on YouTube. And if any of you know what it's like to export or download any of these Twitch videos, they are gigabytes in size.
Yeah. Huge.
Yes. And
as I've been doing with all my VODs so far, they are fucking huge.
They are huge. Definitely. And so I don't want to have to deal with that problem. With these ones, they're going to be 3 hours, and that's what it is. We have 2 more segments left for you. Chunky, thick words, right? But we wanted to introduce you. We actually have more games, but this is sort of us coming back, so we didn't want to do too many games. But this is definitely one. So everybody, this is... I'm going to introduce you guys to our next segment. This is probably one of our last segments of the night. This is called Rewriting Loveless. All right. So basically what is going to happen is I'm going to voice as Genesis. And what you're going to do is you guys are going to if you could replace Loveless with another excerpt from anything, I will read it as Genesis. So, if you guys, Luke, do you have a suggestion?
I do have a backup suggestion. It won't be. I feel like it probably won't be too far from Loveless, but I feel like Chad could probably come up with a much funnier example than I could provide. Well, I'm glad we both get the same stats
yes.
for the triple triad card.
Oh, of course. I forgot whose stats those are, actually. I don't know. I think that could be Angelo. I don't know.
Might be.
But yeah, so William Blake lines. So if you guys want, if you can copy pasta one on the chat, then I'll actually try to read it as Genesis. As Genesis, because Genesis in
Genesis.
Genesis. I curse my stars in bitter grief. Oh, is that what you want me? Oh, is this from Devil May Cry? Genesis, yes. That's how we pronounce it. Imagine we've all been getting it wrong. In the remake, they're like, oh yeah, it's actually Genesis. They did that with Batman, by the way, with Ra's al Ghul. It's actually Rage, and they try to literally teach everybody how to pronounce it.
Yeah, and then they go back to Ra's, like, in the next thing that they release. They're so inconsistent with it. It drives me nuts.
Yep, we got to get into voicing the new books. Yes, we should. Genesis. Man, I know you know Devil May Cry 5. I've seen the crossovers. Nah, it's a hard G on Genesis. It's Genesis.
Genesis.
Genesis. Genesis. Yes.
Je ne sais. It's all French.
Je ne sais. That is definitely true. All right, so it's got to be longer than that. I curse my... Okay, and then that made my love... RG Genesis is so cursed. Here in Cranefreeze, we call him Genesis. Or Genesis. Or Gainasis.
Game asses.
Gain asses. He gains asses. That's what's going on. I'll find some longer passages. Alright, do it. So, you know. Gain assist. Yes, gain assist. Gain assist. Okay, so does that include the first two parts? Alright, okay, I'm gonna read this one then. I'm gonna split that up, sheesh. Okay, no, it's okay, I'll read it as this. I think this is easier for me. Alright, shall I? Shall we try to read this as Genesis?
Go for it.
All right, let's do this. Do I start with this one? Oft when summer sleeps among the trees. That's how is that where I start? Gotta let me know, Shadowleaf. Either that or we go into pun mode. Petrify's like, do it. All right. Okay, so it goes.
Oh, there's a part two.
We gotta bring Genesis up here, that's why. Infinite in mystery is the gift of the goddess. We seek it thus and take to the skies. Ripples form on the water's surface. The wandering soul knows no rest. Oft when the summer sleeps among the trees, whispering faint murmurs to the scanty breeze, I walk the village round, if at her side a youth doth walk in stolen joy and pride. I curse my stars in bitter grief and woe, that made my love so high and me so low. Oh, should she ever prove false, his limbs I'd tear and throw all pity on the burning air. I'd curse bright fortune for my mixed lot, and then I'd die in peace and be forgot. Loveless, Act 4. Sounds oddly different than I remember.
It's the Whispers. They're rewriting Loveless.
Yeah, and that was and that was pretty much us doing that one. But yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed that little segment. We're gonna clip those. I'm actually gonna create like a playlist of all the games we play, and that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
No, what's funny is that you guys can actually make me read anything, and I mean anything. As in like whatever. Like you can make me read fucking, I don't know, like Dr. Seuss, or you could make me read what is it? Like erotica? I don't know. Because I actually found out that it's not against terms of service on Twitch to read erotica out loud. It's not. It is not. Like all the words. Like I cupped him on his scrotum while gently stroking his thigh, his inner thigh. Like shit like that. You can actually say that. Rap lyrics would be good too. Rap lyrics would
Rap
be
lyrics
very.
is actually a really
Rap lyrics
good
would be
one.
very,
I like
very
that
good.
one.
Yes.
Now, that's something that didn't even cross my mind, and that's a really good suggestion.
Yes, Yazora. We replaced Loveless. So that's a segment on Cranefreeze called Rewriting Loveless. We actually have more games than that, but we figured we'd save them for others. These games are going to return. So this is a talk show, by the way. Remember, my goal, my dreams of having a talk show will happen. It's the fanfic. Like, I will read anything. Like, I'm telling you, this is your opportunity to make me read anything as Genesis. With the music and everything. But yeah, so that's definitely one of our things. Yazora's like, bruh. Oh, that deserves a bruh. That definitely. Where's that bruh? Where that bruh?
Bruh.
That definitely deserves a bruh. But hides the specifically Genesis fan. That's not. It's. I know this sounds weird. It is not the. I have done a Genesis ASMR in the past. Somebody, in fact, did pay me to do a Genesis ASMR. It wasn't anything too nasty. It wasn't anything too nasty, but there was I definitely had to practice kissing my own hand just to make sounds. But yes, I definitely had to do that. I've done Ignis ASMR and I've done Ignis really in cosplay. Interesting. I could probably pull that off too. Balthier ASMR. Merit J. You killed my father. No, Cloud. I am your father. No. Zhongli ASMR.
Now keep stuff like that in mind for future Crane Freezes, because that may be a good subject matter for some of the games.
I know it might. Your NSFW audio girl is here. Yes, she definitely is. Balthier ASMR. I could do Balthier ASMR all day. That's why. Just hold on, people. Hold on. Let your requests come in a single file, please. But yeah. But before we're nearing our end. But before that, we have a musical segment, right? So I want you guys to take a listen to a song. Yes, looking at Tenor right there. So our musical guest of the night is Tenor. He's not going to be singing live, but
shall I give you despair?
No, Yuzora. I live in it. I breathe it.
I've only known joy when I was already a man.
Oh, the Bane speech.
Yes.
Oh, the Bane speech.
Oh, the Bane
I
speech
didn't
in for Genesis. Ooh, that'd be good. That'd be good. I'm kind of wearing his colors a little bit, just a little bit, but
a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Just need to color curve that. Oh, that'd be amazing. Yep. So just save that. I think that it looks like the Genesis rewriting Loveless might become a hit. It might become a hit just because they're gonna make me say all the stupid shit.
Which is the correct path.
Which is the proper way to do this. Correct. But yeah, so we are going to listen to a song. And mind you, this song is actually something that it's not just his song. Both of us actually sang this. So this is something that we both worked on, by the way. If I can find it. Where did I save it?
This man, so ill prepared for his own stream.
Oh, I know, right? I know. Let's put this in music.
There he is.
Okay, there it is. All right. So, okay. So, are you guys ready for this? Are you guys ready?
Get ready for this.
All right. So this song is it's actually a song called Rainbow by South Border. They're a Filipino R&B band, and since Tenor and I are both Filipinos, we did a little duet to this song. So you're still gonna see my face, but this is everyone. Round of applause for Tenor, and maybe myself. Here goes.
Falling out, falling in, nothing sure in this world, no, no. Breaking out, breaking in, never knowing what lies ahead. We can really never tell it all, no, no, no. Say goodbye, say hello to a lover or a friend. Sometimes we never could understand why some things begin then just end. We can really never tell it all, no, no, no. But oh, can't you see that no matter what happens, life goes on, and so baby, please smile, no, 'cause I'm always around you, and I'll make you see how beautiful life is for you and me. Take a little time, baby, see the butterflies, colors, listen to the birds that were sent to sing for me and you. Can you feel me? This is such a wonderful place to be. Even if there is pain now, everything would be alright. For as long as the world still turns, there will be night and day. Can you hear me? There's a rainbow always after the rain. Oh, hitting high, hitting low, when to lose you should go. Yeah, yeah, getting warm, getting cold, whether it could be so good or bad. But baby, this is life now, don't get mad. No, 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 no. 'Cause oh, can't you see, that no matter what happens, life goes on and on. So oh baby, please smile, just smile, 'cause I'm always around you, and I'll make you see how beautiful life is for you and me. Take a little time, baby, see the butterflies, colors, listen to the bird that was sent to sing for me and you. Can you feel me? This is such a wonderful place to be. Even if there is pain now, everything will be alright. For as long as the world still turns, there will be night and day. Can you hear me? There's a rainbow always after the rain. Life's full of challenges, not all the time we get what we want. But don't despair, my dear. You'll take each trial and you'll make it through the storm, 'cause you're strong. My faith in you is clear. So I'll say once again, this world's wonderful, and let us celebrate life that's so beautiful, so beautiful. Take a little time, baby, see the butterflies, colors, listen to the birds that were sent to sing for me and you. Can you feel me? This is such a wonderful place to be. Even if there is pain now, everything would be alright. For as long as the world still turns, there will be night and day. Can you hear me? There's a rainbow always after the rain.
So yeah, there it is. There's our song.
That was lovely, gentlemen.
I
That was
know,
absolutely
I know.
lovely.
Guys, everyone, please give a round of applause for Tenor. He the man. And he was able to make it here on time. So that's good. He was actually able to hear his shit live.
Excellent.
I hope you mean it. Like, you know, we're going to post that up on YouTube too. So, yeah. Well, with that musical number out, I just really wanted to thank you guys so much for like being here, because it really does mean a lot to me that I even have an audience back after like being away for so long, and I missed all of you so much. Like I really do share that sentiment that like I really couldn't wait to see you guys again. But I knew that I wanted to do this, and this was sort of the direction I wanted to go with the stream. It doesn't mean that I won't ever stream like some of my voice acting or anything like that. It's just that this is kind of what I want to do on Twitch. So whether this nets me less viewers or more, this is really what I decided. I really want to make a talk show. Especially since I'm quote unquote creating a quote unquote content creator, especially in the FF7 sphere. This is the kind of content I was really thinking of. I know we still do podcast. The podcast is really shiny and new. It's going to have a new layout. It's going to have a lot of new things, because if you've noticed, everything we're doing, even this whole camera thing where we're sort of like switching back between me and Luke, we're trying to make everything YouTube friendly. So that when people watch, then, you know, they're watching it and they can watch it like it's an actual talk show, or they can just watch it like a show. And this is something that we really, really want to do. And yeah, and I hope you guys like the direction. If you like the direction, please tell me. You're gonna enjoy a lot of the games. It's too bad that we don't have the other two UI guys tonight, because that they would have rounded it out really well. I have games designed especially for that. So yeah, I also wanted to get the chat more involved. Yes, and like what we did earlier, we will be sort of taking our own little spin on the gaming and popular culture news. So we'll do that. I'll cover a little bit of esports. I know a lot of you don't care about it, but I do. And, you know, one of the best advice that I've heard when it comes to creating stuff, like this is why I created Final Fantasy Still, or why I created Still Thinking, or why I'm doing ECHO-S, or why I'm doing anything that I'm doing at all, is I want to make content that I would like to see. So, you know, like maybe a lot of people don't overlap with me on that, but, you know, that's only I will create things that I want to see. How, you know, I hope that's not true. I hope other people will create things that I want to see, but this is what I want to be known for, right? So we have Cranefreeze and we have the Crane Storm. Please, guys, if you have not checked the YouTube channel, please subscribe. We need a lot of subscribers. Like I don't care if we get super duper big, but I at least need 100 so that I can do things. Oh, you did. You clipped it. Oh, thank you, because you did sort of the work for me. Thank you so much for doing that, Shadow Leaf.
And here we go, in case people need it. There's a link to the Official Crane YouTube channel where you'll be able to hear and watch past Crane Storms, future Crane Storms, future Crane Freezes, all of that will be uploaded there.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much. You guys are actually part of episode 1. And the reason why I divided the channel up here, so where you can see the chat right there, it's taking up a big spot, because when I'm going on YouTube and a lot of people put their chats, nobody can really read them. So I wanted people who would watch these episodes to actually read what you are saying. So please, if you want to gab and you want to talk a lot, then please, by all means, do that. I mean, look at this. Look at the link. YouTube channel /UCV or whatever. It's like just, this is the keyboard, and I'm just like smashing my head into the keyboard. That's not what we want. You know, if we get at least 100 subscribers, I can at least change that to look better. I can at least change it to look better, so it doesn't have to be www.
Get a vanity hyperlink. I believe it's something like that. I believe it's called like a
custom URL,
something or other. Custom URL.
Yes, I want a custom URL because it becomes easier for us to be searched. Also, if we get to 100 subscribers, then we actually show up in the search, which is so stupid, but we actually will show up in the search. So, vanity URL. The water surface was on my mind. So yeah, so if you guys are really enjoying this, trust me, we have a lot more games, we have a lot more segments. So far, you've only seen the news, you've seen esports, you've seen writing Loveless. We have a lot more than that. In fact,
yes.
In fact, we've actually managed to integrate a lot of the things that we do, like karaoke nights, and not just karaoke nights, but fan casting as well. We were able to integrate those things into Cranefreeze, so they're part of episodes that we get to do. So, and we have
so they're not gone, but they'll be a little condensed for segments now on Cranefreeze, but also Cranefreeze is going to be either up to once or twice a week, depending on if there's a crane storm.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And the time slot for this, since I know it's late for a lot of you, since I have a lot of viewers on the East Coast and beyond, today I started off late because I was trying to code everything. But from this point onwards, like, I will try my best to do them from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific. So
yeah, Pacific.
That's a little bit earlier. That's 2 hours earlier than I started today. Yeah.
You don't count, Shaylee. You're on the other side of the planet in the future. So
yes, you future dwellers.
How dare you?
So yeah, I do recommend that if you guys haven't watched Eternals, I think you should watch it just because I want to talk about it. But yeah, even ahead of the Australians. I know, dirty Australians. Spending all that time down under, that's why. 1:25 for me. Yeah, and I don't want to keep you guys out that late. So every day we will do it from 5 p.m. PST to 8 p.m. PST. So that's what? 3. So what time is that on the East Coast? We start at...
That'd be 8 to 11.
8 to 11. So it's basically the Tonight Show, which is perfect. That's why in the beginning, so that's what it is. Have all of you seen the talk show intro? Have all of you seen the intro?
Because it was pretty great.
That's why I really want people to come in early. No, you missed it. Okay, you know what? Guys? Before we say goodnight, I will play it for you. Should I play it for them?
Oh, go for it.
So here it is. Here is the intro. I'll just cut this segment out for YouTube purposes, but yeah. So let me say all my goodnights. So let the talk show intro be the goodnight. All right. We'll see. Do we want to raid anybody? Is there anybody we want to raid?
Let's see. Are you still going? Let me check.
I think Farron is gone. I think Farron is still streaming.
I was just checking Farron. He's currently AFK.
Oh, well,
that's why I checked.
I mean, we can raid Blitz. We can do that. I know
Blitz was the other one I was thinking of. Yeah.
But yeah, we will have a just so you know, from now on, we're going to have a goodbye segment where we say goodbye, and then an actual goodbye where we raid somebody. Okay, so this is all for YouTube. Remember, Master Crane doesn't want to do any editing. That's how fucking lazy I am. All my work should be front-loaded and nothing more. You heard me, universe? All my work should be front-loaded, nothing more. So yeah.
We're gonna. Is he back? I don't want to rate him when he's not there.
Yeah, because if he's not there,
Okay, he's back.
Okay, so Farron's back. We will, of course, because he's one of the UI guys. So
He's a boy. He's a boy.
We might even jump in chat with him, like jump in voice chat with him, just so we see
might. I was there earlier.
Yep. So again, guys, thank you guys so much. If there was one song that I would recommend you listening to, I would recommend you listen to South Border. It's the song that we sang. Well, I'll actually post this on SoundCloud, so you guys can go check that shit out. And follow me in Tenor. And thank you so much. And hey, guys, let's give a round of applause for Luke. Thank you so much for joining me, Luke.
Hey, always happy to be here. Always happy to be here. I even dressed, like I said, I dressed up for the occasion.
And I will make sure that every time he is here, he is dapper as a motherfucker. That's what it's going to be.
I'll do it.
He will.
I'll do it.
He will do it. Luke, tell him where to find you, bro.
Well, you guys know me. I am Luke Word. I also go by the name Omega Optimus Supreme. You can find me at YouTube, Omega Optimus Supreme, Twitch, Omega Optimus Supreme, and Twitter, LukeWord OOS. No underscores, nothing like that. And I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, sometimes an extra one here or there if I'm feeling feisty at 3 p.m. Pacific. And like I said, I will be streaming tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, and I will be attempting to battle my way through Midgar and Shinra Tower with the ECHO-S Final Fantasy VII demo.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are all immortalized in the very first episode of Cranefreeze. So thank you guys. This is Crane signing out.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with us. We hope to catch you in the next stream.